Hello, everybody. We're back. It's the 3D Printopia breakdown stream. Let's go. So, hello, everyone. We're back. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experiences at 3D Printopia, formerly known as East Coast Rep Rep. And I have joining me Kirby, who I'm going to yap at and tell all the stuff that I saw about because I know he wants to live vicariously through me.
Yeah,
through
I
the
didn't get to go.
I had a lot of people that said that you got to go to Rocky Mountains, so I might go to Rocky Mountain.
I want to try to.
Yeah, you can save up all the money that you would have spent at Midwest and go to Rocky. Anyway,
I don't really spend that much money going to Midwest.
I know, but
like,
like,
I don't want
so
to go to Midwest again.
before I start, I think speaking of money, the thing I do want to say, in total, I only spent $20 on everything you're about to see for the whole event. So I don't know whether that's because I didn't buy a lot or because I did a good job at making friends. Do with that info what you will. I won't repeat it because I don't want anybody to think that I was a scammer or anything. As I go through. Shit, I got distracted. I got a DM. I'm already flubbing this up as I go. But so as we go through, so I was there representing the Recreator group, and you guys all know about the Recreator. As I go through, I don't have a lot on the actual slides because I didn't take a lot of real video while I was there because I was busy running the table. Instead, I just have a lot of the swag with me, and so I'm going to put on the live cam and show off a bunch of the stuff. For anything I don't have a picture of, I have in person. So also, I was there with Josh from the Recreator group, like the guy that the J in JRT 3D is named after. He should be joining around like 7:30-ish. Not exactly sure. I told him don't worry about it because Kirby and I will definitely find enough things to yap about until he gets there. But then he and I are going to kind of talk about our takeaways because I guarantee that we're going to have very different takeaways. Not in a bad way, just like because like this is my first time running
Different
a table at East
about,
Coast.
Yeah,
Because like I find different things interesting. I think you'll see in what I show off. 3D Printopia was the biggest shift that I've seen away from like highlighting the printers and more highlighting the stuff that the printers make. So I was in heaven. There was so much fun, cool stuff to do. And a lot of it I'll put in the video because I realized I covered a lot of the exact same ground in the stream and the video. And so I want to save some stuff for the video. Definitely the Cookie Cat booth is going to be in the video. I would imagine Josh might talk about that because I did take that video. Anyway, just like last year, I'm going to split it, or just like Midwest, I'm going to split everything up into days. Although I will say that Mike and I didn't do too much outside of the convention that I really am going to share. Where's Zombie? Will he be swinging through? Well, I DM'd him. He just hasn't gotten back to me. I see.
He might still be sleeping for a little bit.
I see. You're really here for Zombie. You're not really here for me. I get it. Fake fan. I'm kidding. By the way, good to see you, Guns Out. I stopped by the booth that did. Oh my gosh, I don't have that on. I don't have that here. I stopped by the booth that did CNC just for you. They weren't doing CNC there, but they did like a CNC adjacent thing for me. I'll put the video up on the PowerPoint when we get to that thing. They wrote my name on my badge with the CNC robot. It was fucking cool. Anyway, so first day, I demolished these wings. So I met up with Mike, and he was like, "So what are we gonna eat tonight on Friday?" And I was like, "I don't know. We've kind of eaten all the stuff that we said we were going to eat because we always like make an event out of eating at different places like Cane's and Chili's and Applebee's. And I was like hearing his opinions on Magic the Gathering. CNC robots are dope. Programming them is a bit tricky. I can imagine. I can't having to do all of that intricate they're basically like the full access G code or whatever it's called. What's the thing, Kirby, where like you
The
can
full
move
control.
full control? That's it for 3D printing. They're working on that because really a 3D printer is just a 2D printer with a Z axis. But people are working on making a 3D printer truly a 3D printer where it can like print in all three axes at the same time. Because really, when you get down to it, it prints in on a flat plane and then just
More of
moves it up.
Yeah, 2.5D printer. It's just a bunch of 2D layers stacked on top of each other.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Anyway, so we went to Golden Corral. Golden Corral is ass. Like I don't know
Yeah.
when you guys were gonna tell me that Golden Corral was so shitty.
It always has been.
I didn't know because people talked about it like it was really great, and I had it, and I was like, this is mid. I hate this. So I had to take this picture. Look at how pathetic these wings are. Look at them compared to my fork. You see how small these wings are? I don't know why I'm using this time to talk about wings, but they're pathetic. Also,
that's like barely any meat.
Also, they had a Slurpee machine, and you know my ass made the hollow purple. Now, this isn't a picture of it because there was a kid standing there. And I didn't feel comfortable filming a video with a kid standing there waiting on me. So instead, I made the Ace Gamer drink as a follow-up, and then I took a picture of it as I was leaving. But Ices aren't a lot of calories. I always thought they were like huge in calories because they're all sugar. But because they're so aerated, did Mark Forge show up? I think so. I'm not great with names. I'll have to look. But I probably stopped by their table and got something. Seen kids putting their fingers in the chocolate fountain. They don't have the chocolate fountain anymore. They got rid of it because of COVID. So instead I got the soft serve ice cream, which was just kind of mid. It was all just kind of mid, and I was like, dang, we should have gone somewhere else. So we made up for that by going to McDonald's the next day. So this is kind of cheating. This is actually what we did on Saturday morning, but I wasn't going to make a whole section just for this one video. Please, I'm hoping that you guys can hear this. Hey Mike, what if instead of 713 it was 1738?
I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello.
Did you hear that? I feel like that's a joke that Zombie would really like. So when he gets back, I'll play that video for him again. Tell me that's not a joke that he would make.
Probably. Yeah.
So what happened was I got my receipt and I was like, I'm gonna have to make a joke about this receipt for the video. And I was like searching every single number on the entire receipt. I was like, I gotta find it. I gotta find some number that makes this joke really funny. So I got lucky. Okay. Enough yapping about random shit. Let's talk about the actual convention. So first off, here is what I showed off. So as you can see, I've got the fauna planters. I finally finished those, which I'm so excited about. The one here on the left uses recycled PET, recreator bottle filament, and these I showed off at Midwest Rep Rap, but these are the same recycled bottle filament, but they're the Gura hair ties. So it was super cool to be able to just show off stuff that I had made myself. Oh man, it felt so great. But I had so many people come up to me who were like, "Oh my gosh, it's such a cute planter." I was like, "Yeah, it is a cute planter." They don't know that I'm VTuber, which was very funny. Because then when I would try and explain VTubers to people, they'd be like, "So it's like the Muppets?"
Yeah,
I can't
yes.
tell you how many people were like, "Oh, so it's like the Muppets." Anyway, here's my tracking shot that I got of the convention, so you can see here. When I talk about them later, here is Soraya Tech, I believe is their name. I bought they're the only booth that I bought anything from this whole event because they had.
What did you buy from Soraya Tech? They make resin.
They only make like they make exotic filaments as well. Like they made like
do they?
polycarbonate stuff.
I didn't know that.
But I didn't want any of it. Instead, I bought a TPU from them because it was only $20 a roll, and I was like, nah,
okay.
well. So question: the lower the number, the more flexible it is, right?
Honestly, I would have to Google that. I don't.
I'm
know off the
pretty
top of
sure
my
it's the
head.
lower the number, the more flexible it is. Anyway, it's 85A instead of the 95A that TPU is normally. So I'm pretty sure that it's like really, really rubbery. I might be completely wrong, and in that case, then that sucks. But it was only $20, so I picked it up.
Oh, looks like normal price is like $40, so you got a pretty good deal on it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm figuring it's a whole kilogram. Oh, Josh is here. So anyway, continuing to go on. There's Cookie Cat in the back. There's Micro Center. This is Alien 3D right here with the big UFO. And then you can't see it against here, this wall right here, but there were a couple YouTubers. There's the guy that does the electroplating, which I'll get into in a little bit. And then there's us. Look at us. We're right there. And then right across the road is Cookie Cat or Cocoa Press. My bad. Blah, blah. So yeah, Saturday I didn't do much. I stuck by the table for the majority of the day and just kind of talked to people. I honestly don't know, compared to Midwest, how the crowds were. They seemed pretty, like, the same. You know, like, they were all very nice. And there were so many people that came up to us and were like, you're doing good work. Like, I wish I could do what you're doing. I wish we had done, like, new subscriber. Thank you. I'm so glad that it's working now, because now it can do it does the voice, and it should do the pop-up. But thank you for the sub. It didn't pop up though. I don't know what's up. Maybe it's linked to my chat. I have no idea. Anyway, but I was so excited to hear that people want to recycle. I wish we had done like a survey so that we could, everyone else's booth is black and yours stands out so much because of it. Yeah, no, you gotta compliment Josh when he gets in here about that, because that was all him. He's the one that designed all the stuff, but our booth was really well designed for that. Also, you see all these, like right here, they've all got like products and stuff, and then we've got this like whole table full of crap. Like the entire table was full. It draws people. But yeah, it does stand out really well.
Crap, it was good.
Josh would probably use the same words when he gets in. No, but I was just really excited and enthused with the amount of people that were at least surface level interested in recycling. I heard even less like negativity. And again, at Midwest, I only heard like one or two people or like 2 or 3 people who were like, this won't work. But at this event, there was quite literally only one person who was even slightly negative, and he wasn't even that negative. Instead, he came up to us and he was like, all right, sell a skeptic on this. And I told him, and he goes, you did a good job. I believe in you guys. So, like, even the most hate that I got at the table was still, like, incredibly positive. So, like, and again, I'm not saying that Midwest was not nice. They were just as nice. I'm just so shocked by the amount of people that 3D print and like our recycling mindset, because like I've mentioned on a couple streams, I come from the recycling industry, and you do not get that level of what's the word I'm looking for? That level of grace in the plastics industry. They just immediately say, "No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work."
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who have a 3D printer realize that, especially from their own 3D printer, the plastic waste is an issue.
The amount of people that are like, I collect mine, that like I don't throw any of mine away, that shocked me too, because I was like, I feel like the only reason that I hold on to it is because I'm so sustainability minded. Most people probably just throw this out, but there are so many people that were like, I have like barrels and barrels of poop waste from my bamboo machines, and I'm like, that means they're holding on to it, because they're not like throwing it out. There were a few people who were like, I throw all of it out, but
it's one of those things where like once you get enough of it, you're like, I don't know what to do with this anymore.
That's kind of where I'm at right now, which is why I'm going to start shredding, which is kind of going to be eating into my takeaways. So I think now is probably the best time to start pulling from my thing on the side here and just randomly pulling out shit from my goodie bag. And I want Kirby to know, just for him, I didn't improve the camera quality, so it's gonna be just as shitty as it was last time. I hope you're excited for that when it comes. So, alrighty, let me get to my cam here. Sick. Okay, you can see my hand. I'm so nervous that I'm gonna like dox myself when I turn this camera on. I'm still good. There we go. I do hate how much my watch takes up in terms of the camera. But so the first person I wanted to shout out was Hendrik, the 3D printing electroplating guy. I don't know if he's watching. I personally doubt it because he's probably on his way back home or something like that. But he dropped by a Maker Tuesday before RepRap or 3D Printopia, and I was like, no way, this guy's in my stream. Like, this guy's pretty big in the space. Like, a lot of people know about his techniques. And so I was like trying not to fanboy on the stream, like trying to hold my composure on stream. I was like, yeah, I'll drop by, you know. In my head, I'm like, that's the first person I'm going to talk to. Like, I'm going to go right there. And when I got in, so first off, special shout out to...
You're like that one guy. I just want to shake his hand. I just want to shake his hand. But
Yeah. Josh said he fanboyed on him too. Yeah, no, it's hard not to because his stuff is just so impressive.
Yeah,
it's like Anyway, I'll show the video. I'll show the benchy that he gave me, and I'll get to it in due time. But so Josh got me an exhibitor pass, which was amazing because I was able to go in early, and before setup even was finished, I went over to him because like I was like, I gotta get one of those benchies. Like, I gotta get one. It not to like be rude, but this was my Recreator this year. Because like last year, I said to myself, I said, Recreator is the first booth I'm going to, and if I miss everything else at the convention, that's the big thing that I care about. This electroplating stuff was that for this year. I don't think that's offensive. I think that's fine to say. But like this is the thing that I was the most excited for. Because first off, he came to my stream, which is like fucking awesome, dude. That's like that would be like if Markiplier came to my stream and was like, "Hey, when you're at TwitchCon, come say hi to me," or something like that. Like I was peeing my pants when I saw that. Anyway, so I stopped by and he gave me you can kind of see it. I'll turn on the camera and show you it in better detail. I don't want to cover up the footage with the cam. But he gave me a rare SS Super Pull Gold benchy. It's just so cool. All right, I don't know what else to say. It's so cool. So I immediately put that on my lanyard and I wore it the rest of the weekend. Here's his whole table. The coolest part about it is, I don't know why it did that. So I don't know why the PowerPoint is acting weird. I'm gonna post his. That should be a link to his YouTube channel. Go and check him out if you're interested. Great guy. Back to the footage. Sorry. This time I wanted to make sure that I shouted everybody out. Look, you can see my reflection. You can see the ugly setup that I have for recording. You can see my when I was filming this, I was like, oh shit, I gotta duck down so you don't get my face in the reflection. But my camera actually covers it up perfectly. But
you always could have like re-recorded it too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was okay actually. So what I do is I just record more than I need and then edit out the parts I don't want. But like, look at all this shit. This is amazing. Like, this is so cool. I can't get over it.
He traveled with all of that too.
Yeah, no, and not even just traveled, but traveled overseas because he's from Europe, I believe. Mm-hmm. He's not from America. So this is the coolest part right here. He was showing off his like technique for properly like
he was actually
hydrating.
Doing it there.
Well, no, I did a little interview with him.
Like a demo?
I didn't get it recorded. I just did a little interview with him. But he was like, "Can you guess what this is?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that's the copper sulfate solution. I know that from the lab because I'm a chemist." And he was like, "No, it's actually just Gatorade." He was like, I can't bring
Yeah.
copper sulfate into the thing because if
Oh.
it spills, like
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's not great.
Toxic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not bad considering some of the other stuff that you can have. Why are my eyes bugging out? Oh my god, why are my eyes bugging out?
I don't think you'd be able to like travel with it or anything.
Yeah, I also like, why would you need to set it up? It's not like he's actually electroplating. He's just like showing it off. True. So you can see here it spins in the liquid. So he said he thinks it's so it can get more inside the electrical field between the two plates. I talked to my buddies in the lab, and I think it's because the reason that the spinning works so well is because it allows for more interactions between the copper molecules, but that's a chemist's definition. Also, he's done this and I haven't, so I'm not going to sit here and nitpick his definitions. Can you turn up Kirby's volume? Absolutely.
I think he just spins it because it works better.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said. He spins it because it works better. But he was like describing why it works better, and I think it's because the copper that's in the solution, by spinning it, there's more of a chance that the copper will hit the print as it's spinning rather than it being like still in place.
That makes sense.
But I'm not the one that does it. So also, the other question that I asked him earlier hopefully this doesn't play. So first off, the cover for the bamboo thing, brilliant idea. I'm like, that is such a cool idea to like do a hot end that's electroplated like that. That is so cool. Then this to the right here, it's a little blurry. I asked him, I said, oh, is that hydro dipped? And he goes, no, actually, that's like that pattern is etched with the electroplating. I don't fully understand the process for it because I was just asking him in a booth. I'll have to research it a little bit more. But either he masked it off or he sent an electric current through it, and that's what etched that design in it. But either way, it's all electroplating, no other like anything to it. And it's really, really cool. The only downside that I had was all of his stuff is resin. Very little of it is FDM. He said the bigger parts, like the C3PO helmet right here, this is FDM. But that makes sense. So the little stuff is resin and the big stuff is FDM. That's kind of what I expected.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot easier to like finish a resin, especially if you're like sanding and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what he was saying. He was saying it's way easier to, because you don't have to post process the resin as much to hydro or electroplate it. So that was super cool. Hold on. Sorry, I went silent. I was like, oh, Kirby will fill in the blanks for me not talking. So hand cam, look at this. Okay, so I'm gonna show off the benchy a little bit more. Look at how shiny that shit is. Isn't that amazing?
Josh is here.
Josh is here, everybody. Josh, say hello to everyone. His volume might not be working. I shouldn't have shouted him out right away. But yeah, that's the electroplated benchy. Looking snazzy. I was so excited. I was like losing my mind. While I have my lanyard out, do you recognize this pin, Kirby? I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but her first name's Karen. She did the bagel pin that I showed off at Midwest. And she was like, oh, I remember you. And I was like, no way. That's so cool. Her stuff is like the cutest I've ever seen. She made a maker coin for for East Coast. For Midwest, she had a donut little guy. These are my favorite. I don't want to steal her design, but I love that, and my sister loves that kind of model too. Here's my special recreator pin. Thanks to Josh on that one. And then I don't have the video up. I can pull it up, but look at, they wrote my name on my name tag with a robot. Isn't that so cool? Look at how nice it is. So yeah, that was Hendrik. Hendrik. I'll say it Hendrik for right now. I just realized I don't have a bag to put all my stuff in as it transitions from one bag to another. So I guess I'm just gonna have to put it underneath me. Back to no cam. There we go. Next person. I don't have anything to show. Oh wait, I do. I'll eat this later on cam because last time I still haven't eaten the one from East Coast Rep. It's a year old and I still haven't eaten it. I got to see Cocoa Press. No clue how to do this. Just speak. Do you have your mic on? Oh, we can't hear your mic. Are you sure your mic's plugged in?
Has he ever used Discord before?
Yeah, we've met on Discord before.
Okay. Does he has perms to talk, right? I think so.
Yeah, no. Is there a special thing for perms for talk?
He's got his cam on.
Yeah, no, I know. I should have the Josh cam in the side.
Josh cam. I see him. I can't hear him. I see him talking.
Yeah, no, I feel really bad. Oh, he said 1 minute. Okay. I didn't notice that he was like motioning to me because I have my Discord covered with the other stuff.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. He was like, "Is it gonna be easy?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'll be really easy. Don't worry." Anyway, Cocoa Press. So, oh my gosh. So, Cocoa Press was there, and they had, oh hi, hey. We're working on the mic setup so we can hear Josh.
Yeah, we can't hear you right now.
We can see you, but we can't hear you. It's chat's gonna be like, what are they talking about? Does that actually work? I've wanted one for so long, but it's so pricey. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Cocoa Press because I did an interview with them as well. Or like I talked to I'm gonna say Mrs. Cocoa Press, but I talked to the founder of Cocoa Press and I got to hear about her about the Cocoa Press machine. I wanted to buy one so bad. I was DMing Kirby. I was like, Kirby, do I buy this? And Kirby was like, it's not a bad price. Maybe you should. And I was like, maybe I should.
I told you if you did, I would help you build it, but I didn't say you should or not because ultimately it's your money.
No, obviously, ultimately it's my decision. But like, and then I went up to the founder and I was like, hey, should I don't know if I have enough money to buy one of these, but I really want one. And she was like, well, if I can sell you, this is the cheapest they'll ever be. And I'm like, that's not what you should have told me because now I want to buy one even more. But the cool thing about the Cocoa Press machines are that, well, obviously they print chocolate. That's the coolest part. But what they were showing off at this convention is the fact that the new ones have a not hot or I believe it's hot swappable. You have to use your like hand. See the like little lever here. So it's not like fully like automatic.
It's not automatic, but it's like a quick swap.
Yeah, it's like a quick swap. Oh, we can hear you now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no way, there he is.
Can you hear bad things?
Can I hear bad things?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you sound good. I mean, there's a little bit of the background in it, but you're good.
Can we do this?
Nah, you're good. You're good. Chat, tell me if I need to turn everything up. I will. I don't have it set up where they can see your cam, but I'll see it so that I can see anything from you.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. I'll just say like this, and we'll go. I've got things a little jerry-rigged, but
welcome to being a VTuber, Josh. How does it feel?
I don't know. I need you to do me up a little fancy cartoon character.
That's true. We need to get you a VTuber model. Oh my gosh. So
yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a day. It's been a week. I can't believe it's Wednesday already.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I've just been in the lab working, and I'm like, holy shit, it's already Wednesday.
Yep.
So I'll finish up with Cocoa Press, and then I'll move on. We could skip over some of my other stuff and go right to you if you want to talk, because I don't want to eat up your whole day.
Cool, man. You do your thing. I'm just here for the ride.
Oh, that's fun. I'm so excited about this. This is a lot more exciting than Midwest Rep recap
say,
was.
like, I've been telling people you're kind of like my Robin to Batman. For the
oh
covered
no!
at least like 1/3 of the crowd that came in. So again, it's like
I'm blushing.
Half the battle is just being able to keep the flow going. So I appreciate you being there immensely.
Chat, clip that and send that to me.
I need to watch it every night before
I need to make that my ringtone. Anyway, so Cocoa Press. So I'm gonna call it tool changing because it's basically tool changing. Although tool changing technically is automatic. Although it looks like you need to press it with your hand, but it's still in development. You can't actually buy the version 2 of the Cocoa Press yet. It's only the version 1, so it's still like a in beta like thing. And the founder, I wish I knew her name. I'm awful with names. Who?
Yeah, Ellie.
Ellie. Okay. So she was like, I don't feel comfortable selling these until I have everything that I want on it and working, because like she doesn't want to sell like a beta unit to anybody. And I was like, that's very responsible. I respect the hell out of that decision. But it was just kind of cool to geek out with her about it. I was just like, can you, and you can hear it in the beginning of the video. I was like, hey, could you just redo the like tool changing so I can film it? And she was like, film it. Yeah. I'm not used to being an influencer yet. And so it was kind of weird to be like, can I film this for my channel? Because like I need the footage and stuff. But she was super inviting and everything. Also, I had to shout out Cynthia because I was like, Cynthia saw my my rainbow hot end pin and was like, no way. Trans 3D printing, and I was like, yeah, now you can 3D print too. And I told that to Ellie, that's her name, right? Yeah. And she was like, oh, did you get your friend into 3D printing then? And I'm like, well, no, Cynthia hasn't bought a printer yet, but instead I make her stuff on the channel, and then eventually I'll send it to her. Haven't gotten around to that yet. But
so
the other,
sorry, chose like if you want to get something or meet someone or get footage of their stuff, amongst meeting them, you gotta just get in there.
Yeah, no, I gotta get better at that. I was talking to Chep about that, and I can talk about that on my like ender, because I was talking to Chep about the whole like influencer experience.
You just gotta be that asshole for that split minute, otherwise you're not gonna get it, because there's gonna be somebody else right behind you just equally as anxious to get in and get that experience.
I needed Kirby to stand behind me and say nothing to give me the confidence to say something.
Just push you.
It worked really well at Midwest, because I was like, because Kirby would be like, I want to talk to them, but I'm too shy, and I'm like, that's it.
The shoulder and be like, hey, can you talk to this person?
Can you talk to this person?
We played that. You filmed me playing the game, the Perfection game, right?
Yeah. I don't have the footage in the PowerPoint, but I can pull it up.
All right. I was saying though, that guy to the left was all like apprehensive and didn't want to play, but he watched us play. So it's like, guy, you obviously want to play. Just play, And someone else wanted to videotape him playing, so it was like, just go play. He just needed a push.
Well, that's a funny thing that you bring up. I had Josh walk around with me because I was starting to lose it, and I was like, I need some help here. So I was like, if I walk around with Josh, I can use my omnivert powers to talk to more people at the booths and shit like that. You remember I kept taking Zombie around with me at Midwest to get footage. I was like, Zombie, come on. I got to go get more footage. And he's like, okay. And that's how I got the Polymaker filament. The guy at the Polymaker booth ripped me off this time. I was so mad. They were doing they had those figures from last time, and they worked like Disney Infinity or Skylanders figures, where when you tapped them on the base, they like showed you what filament the guy was made out of. But if you guessed right what filament it was, you got a free filament. And the one that came up for me was one they didn't have at the event. So I literally couldn't win. He's like, "Oh, you got the closest you could, because it was like high speed polycarbonate or something like that." And I picked up the one that was just regular polycarbonate, and he's like, "Oh, we don't have a demo unit for the high speed one yet." And I'm like, so can I still win then? Like the woman in front of me got like 4 tries, and I got 1 and had to leave. That sucks. Anyway, So, Josh, while I get some of my stuff, my IRL stuff ready, did you want to talk about your stuff? Any big
Sure.
takeaways? Anything?
Um,
Here, I'll move myself so you can see that
so one of the
nifty
things that
picture.
these photos are from setup, and Friday, Friday's like a third day almost, just for um the chaos of setting up, you know. So like that's me in my apartment or the hotel room rather, just
When you texted
having
me that
fun.
you were in the hotel making that, I showed my mom and I go, Josh is crazy. I would have just given up. Oh, chat said the green booth is brilliant, which I agree. I hadn't even
Yeah.
noticed that until somebody pointed it out.
So the guy who did our firmware, Nick Jones, he did our first firmware. He actually bought me the first Ender that went into making the MK5. Um, just joked that I grabbed my basement and took off.
That's so funny.
And legit, like everything at the table was just like my basement. I put everything in my car, and my basement just feels so bare and naked right now. But I gave a lot of stuff that went there that was kind of questionable if it was like 100% working. So a lot of stuff got given away just so that I could go home with a clear.
I saw the
mind.
pictures in the Discord. I was like, no way. He's giving away literally everything on that table. Because, I mean, I have a unit right behind me, which I'm going to show off as well as, like, my big Ender.
So you went to Murph, and I don't know how Murph functions other than dysfunctional. So I don't know how breakdown goes, but for me, breakdown. So we have. I specifically sponsor because it gives you an extra 2 hours to set up.
Yeah.
So that is in my head worth $300 just to sponsor the event and to have that kind of like first tier setup time. So you almost get 6 to 8 hours for setup, and it's a third day where everybody there is setting up, you know, so your friends from the previous year, and you get to like talk. And so Zachary, who we do live streamings with, he came over from oh my god, like Europe. I'm trying to think beyond.
Oh,
Europe.
wow.
At the top of my head, I can't think right now, but he came for a distance, and we're always on this guy Jerry's live stream, and he both of us have the gift of gab. We could have literally just shot the shit the entire time, but I'm like there like, yo, I gotta set up. I can't just sit here and talk. So like I'm diligently just trying to put things together and talk to him and like catch up.
Well, that's why when you said, "Oh, I don't like you're good. You don't have to help me set up on Friday." I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, seems like a lot of stuff to set up. I was really surprised when I came in on Saturday that everything was like fully set up. But in all fairness, Midwest Rep Rap started on that Friday of setup, and they said, "Screw it, no setup time. Everybody comes in at the same time." So
yeah, they opened. Like,
we were like, yeah, no, we were under the gun on that one. So I guess that's what makes it a little different.
So 3DPrintopia, formerly Earth, is very, very meticulously organized.
Oh, it's fantastic.
One of my it's one of my highlights. Chris, who runs the show with Nick and Vicky, they bring you in like family, and one of the things that I say amongst going these shows that you go big or you go home, right? And I just kept saying I'm going big because I'm going home still, like, and I might not be back next year. So I wanted to make an impression because it's a lot to get to these conventions. It cost almost $2,000.
Hey, sponsors, if you're listening, we could really use that sponsor money.
Sponsors make things go round, and we had a good amount of financial sponsors and mostly product sponsors. You know, a lot of these companies, they're involved in the products that they're selling, so their money's just tied. So you go and you ask someone if they could be a sponsor. Well, we can send you product, but we can't send you money. And it's nice to get product, but you also need money to get to the place. So there's an ebb and flow to it, and it all seems to work out. Year 3 was the best. And then like that's the thing is you're making friends and business relationships, and as you know, like if you can bring something to the plate for somebody, it's even more an initiative. You jumped on me last year, and one of the best things I think were the talk about takeaways. Like I want a trophy, and I like skipped out of there with that thing.
I forgot that video. I took a video of the trophy.
At the end of the day, I can send you some photos too in a minute, but at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway was people who came back from the first year.
Like me.
Like you, and like you're like, oh, I don't want to fanboy. I'm fanboy, man. That made the entire experience, because then it turned around where it was like, you got to go to Rocky Mountain, and then it's like, yeah, come join me at 3DPrintopia, because literally, dude, you were like Robin to Batman for me, and B was there, and she was kind of in the same bracket where it's just like, you're my left hand, she's my right hand. And without the two of you, just the event wouldn't have happened. So
it meant a lot to me, because I've kind of said this on a lot of my streams, so I don't want to like everybody in chat will be like, Ace is saying it again. But when I started printing, what got me into being an environmental engineer was this idea where I made all this waste and I wanted to reuse it. And this is getting me closer to that ultimate goal. I said this to 3D Printing Nerd and Chep. Or not Chep, I think it was just 3D Printing Nerd and you, where I said, I've been tracking this stuff since it was the Philistruder back in the day, or that little desktop unit that the 3D Printing Nerd used to use. Or he was like, I forget what that thing was called, but like it was a piece of crap, and it died like immediately because nobody wanted it.
Well, they've all used this stuff, so like they've been doing this for 7 years amongst the same, products being out for 7 years.
Yeah, and then the ArtMe comes out and it immediately smashes all of them out of the water, because it's made by people that want to actually do it instead of people that want to make a quick buck off the community. And I think that's why the ArtMe is so successful. Where are the others?
That's the rep spirit, and so like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
ArtMe is 100% open source commercially.
Hey, Zombie, you heard that? Zombie's not here. I'm just joking.
And so, well, just like you saw with, we won't mention it right now because who knows what's going to end up happening. But there was a lot of interested people.
Oh yeah, that specific one. I want to hold off on mentioning that. I told Kirby before stream. What's up?
At the end of the day, though, like that's where we wouldn't have had the ArtMe if it wasn't for the Philistruder and everything else before that, because like anything else, for some people that worked, for the majority of people it didn't, and what it ended up doing was did you ever get something that just frustrated you so much where you're like, this should work, and then you took
in research we say that knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do, and I think a lot of those walked so the ArtMe could run. But I think that the real thing that differs from the business world to I'll say the rep world, is that it's all driven by what people want to do. And it's not necessarily like a monetary piece. Going back to Cocoa Press, the founder was telling me, she was like, yeah, I'm barely breaking even right now. Like I'm fighting to keep the business even. And I'm like, that's crazy.
That is like, everyone's like, how come you haven't made a kit yet? And even when I produce a unit and to sell that, which I really tried not to do, I am not making anything, and it kind of ends up being a little more frustrating sometimes. And then even on a business level, like there are people making kits and getting their kits out there, and they are literally making nothing. It is love. It is all love. And for me and recycling, and I know that's why I had you with me, man. Like, and we got to talk more shop on plastic.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is viable. Sorry, I got a vacuum behind me. Uh, so everybody came up to me and more or less, like you said, like I think you said you were surprised that they were like hanging on to their prints.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
I was so
like
shocked.
no, like the majority of people want a solution.
Yeah,
They
no,
want
a majority of them have that. I was so shocked by how many people have that. I'll call it like plastic guilt. I was so shocked by how many other people have that plastic guilt because I thought that was not a personal issue, but like I just thought I was crazy for feeling so guilty about throwing it out. Especially
no man.
because
I mean,
a lot of these companies say that the PLA is biodegradable, and most people don't know the difference between biodegradable and industrially biodegradable and like those kinds of differences. And so I figured a lot of them would be like, "Oh, well, I throw it out because it's biodegradable." But like so many people look at it the same way they look at like throwing out a bottle, and I think that's very interesting and also positive because it means that more people will be on our side for enacting recycling change. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna not to cut you off, but
yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I've got noise behind me. I'm sorry if there's issues going
oh no,
on.
you're chilling. While you were talking, I had the opportunity to dig through my bag. So here are the two. Here are the two Cocoa Press chocolates. So you can't see the difference on the footage. I can barely see the footage in person, but the one on the right, that's like the gyroid infill. This one is milk chocolate, and the one on the left is dark chocolate. Which, talking about hot swappable nozzles, the joke that I made, or hot tool changing, my bad, was the idea that you could have a mix, like you could print something that was a mix of like dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate, which was kind of funny. And then Kirby, was it you that said multiple foods?
Yeah,
Multi-food printing. So before I
Or, like,
eat these,
cheese or
before I
something.
eat these, I do want to say when I used to lecture about 3D printing, I would show the video of NASA 3D printing a pizza because NASA is trying to use 3D printing for everything. So not just like materials, but also like food, because for them it's much cheaper to just bring up like a packet of of sauce and a packet of dough and a packet of cheese, because then they don't have to freeze dry everything because it can just stay in a packet and then the printer can squeeze it, because printers are like don't care about gravity to an extent, you know. Like if you're printing something pretty flat, gravity isn't that big of a deal for a printer. Like there's that video of not CNC Kitchen, but what's the name of the other guy that's um from Europe?
His partner.
No, the guy with the beard. I know
That guy. Good.
I know that doesn't
narrows
really
it down.
narrow it down. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Anyway, he
Talking
did a
about,
video where he took an ender and
Thomas.
yeah, I think that might be it.
I forget his last name.
He suspended a printer from the ceiling and it printed a benchy. So like gravity to an extent.
Are you talking about Pooch?
Huh?
Oh, his YouTube name is now Made with Layers. It's
That's
Thomas
it. Yeah.
Sandlanderer.
Anyway, yeah, no, he did a video where he printed benchy while having it suspended on bungee cords from the ceiling. So like to an extent,
Okay.
3D printing doesn't care about gravity. So anyway, way overkill for me talking about eating this chocolate. But anyway, you're not too far off. NASA's been working on printing with food. So this one is the, oh man, it really likes to melt really quickly. I think Guns Out asked about speeds. I don't know what the speeds are, but they're pretty quick. I have a video of it that'll be in the video. There is the dark chocolate. Let me.
The warm up time is unfortunately the longest time.
That's true.
I think
Yeah,
because
because you kind of, for the chocolate 3D printing, everything needs to be like at the right temperature, otherwise it's not going to work properly.
Yeah, their original one or the one previous to.
You're
one,
telling me I can't rapid prototype this chocolate? What the heck?
Well, so it's like we were actually talking about it's like a mixture of like a fondant, like a fondant, like our
Oh, fondant.
fondant.
Yeah. I thought fondant was
Okay.
just icing, but
Well, sure. So now think about like icing and chocolate as like a mixture, just like you've got Pet G with glycol, right?
oh
So
yeah, you're
it's all
right. That's such a good
right.
connection. So
So
the
like that's where she was freezing. She had her printer in a refrigerator, the last incarnation before number one,
oh, because it wouldn't
right? So
print.
now, so if you get rid of the whole fact that like, okay, well, chocolate chocolate melts, and how do you stop
How do you
chocolate from
cool
melting?
it? Yeah. It needs
So
that
you
big
either
ass fan that's on the K1, right, Kirby?
right, so you either cool it though, or you change your chocolate properties, and that's where right now, like people want to be able to get their own chocolate in the cocoa press because, unfortunately, the sticks are a little expensive.
Yeah, that
Just
was
because
gonna
of
be the thing that I
but
like. If I bought one, I was probably gonna. I'm glad that I know that now. I wish I had known that before I went to buy one, because I probably like now. I'm glad that I didn't buy one because I was gonna start doing that, like making my own.
okay, Dad, you bust my nuts the entire time, had me dying.
So, oh yeah, that's what I said to you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
your old man was busting you or something.
No, I texted my parents and I was like, should I buy this printer? And they're like, no. They're like, what are you gonna use it for? And I was like, printing things out of chocolate. And they're like, we could just go to the store and buy a chocolate bar, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not
It's
printed.
not the same.
They're like, do you run a bakery? And I'm like, no, I don't run a bakery. They're like, okay, well then where are you gonna use it for? I'm like, all right, that makes sense. And then I went to Josh and I was like, what do I do? Should I buy this? And he said the same thing. He was like, well, what are you gonna do? It's kind of a niche product. And I was like, but I just want it because it's cool. All right.
It is
But
very
that's
niche.
fine, like that's the whole point of going to rep rap. A lot of the printers that make people go like, ooh, what's that? It's niche. It's just
Just
fun,
cool. So the dark chocolate one was very sweet. It tastes a lot sweeter than normally. I'm a big fan of dark chocolate. I've even made my own in Costa Rica. But here is the milk chocolate. I'm gonna try it now. It's so cool. I almost don't want to eat it, but I gotta. Otherwise, I'm never gonna. You know what? I should get a video of this. I keep licking my fingers. No, you could make things for classes and show off 3D printing in all forms. See, I should have talked to Guns Out before I bought it. Anyway, I'm filming this video for TikTok. Look at those
I
layer
do think it'd be a
lines.
really cool thing to have for like a bakery or something. Though.
Well, so I'm eating it
It'd be
now.
great for like weddings, bar mitzvah, any kind of party, any kind of event.
So, that reminds me of. Oh my gosh, which chocolate is that? It reminds me of the Christmas chocolate, the stuff that's in like those generic, like it's in those generic like holiday gift bags. It's not bad. Anyway,
Or like the chocolate you would get in like a advent calendar.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
It's
is
not bad.
the same type of chocolate, I believe.
Well, I mean, it's just generic
or
chocolate.
it's close to the same type. Yeah.
No offense towards
No.
Cocoa Press, but
There is like a specific type of chocolate that you use for like molding and stuff.
yeah, molding chocolate. So, the one lady that told me about the price, she was like, "Oh yeah, I pre-ordered one because I own a bakery, and like this will be like huge for us." And I was like, "See, that makes a lot of sense." And then she got me thinking that it made sense for me too. And then I had to talk to others, and they were like, "All right, Ace, it doesn't really make sense for you to own a bakery." And I'm like, all right, fine. But I'm like, dude, I could start printing with chocolate, and then like I could eat it too. And they're like, all right, what else? I'm like, all right. Anyway, moving on from Cocoa Press.
Oh my god.
So I specifically say this for Dreams. I made sure to grab as much filament as I could for him because I knew that I would make him jealous. I have a problem. I just want everybody to know that. So how you could use it in your YouTube videos and write it off on your taxes. See, the problem is YouTube has to make me money for me to write it off on my taxes. I talked to my financial advisor, and he was like, "Well, first you have to make money."
And writing it off the taxes. That's like me with my project. They're like, "Oh, all that's a write-off." It's like, no, I'm a project. None of that's tax related.
Yeah, no, it has to be a business first. Subscribe to the Patreon. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so
more or less, like, yeah.
so I think Doug. So Dreams was mad because Prusa doesn't give out filament at Smurf. In fact, he said not very many companies give out filament. Because I came back with a suitcase with full of filament. Kirby can attest to this. I mobbed that filament like I'm a peasant boy asking for gruel after a hard day in the mines. I cannot stop.
Every like 4 or 5 minutes, you were texting me at the Prusa booth again, getting some. Damn, dude.
I'd be like, hey, sorry. Okay, so I also had Mike with me, and I said, Mike, I'm making a video. I need these for a video. So feel free to just grab it whenever you get it on your hands. And he was like, okay. So he also grabbed just as much as me. So I doubled my output. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to fit in frame for when I do this, but I'll post it in the full video. But so I don't know if it's all going to go everywhere.
Yeah, when me and Zombie went to the Prusa booth at Midwest Rep 2 years ago.
It's covering my camera, so my whole model's gone.
We went on the last day, and they were just trying to get rid of the filament, and I still have, like, I have enough sample spools.
You can't even
like
see it.
2 kilogram spools worth of filament.
You can't even see it. It's covered.
That was like our first year. Well, I'll try to find the video, but like B ended up going to Alien 3D.
Alien 3D is base. They have cool filament colors.
He was just trying to like unload all his samples and stuff from the boxes that he makes, and B was like, "Oh, how about you give me a deal for like $50 and we just take like 5 of these boxes?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And she like ran back to me like, "We got all this filament."
So I think you guys get the point that I got a lot of filament. I'll post a final video. I might do what I did last year, but those videos kind of did poorly, so I don't know if it's a great idea. But last year I showed off every color with its own like frog. I might do that this year. I'm not sure because last year they kind of bombed. Maybe I'll have to do more like effort to them. I don't know. Still not quite sure with what I'll do for that. But I like to show off the sample spools of filament because it's cool to have the colors. But I'll come back to this. This is why I asked for the meld. The video. I'm working on a video where I'm going to take all this filament and make it into a big roll and see how big of a roll I can make out of all of the Prusament that I've grabbed from all of the conventions because I still have all of it. I don't think I've touched any of it outside of printing frogs for Rep last year. But first off, we got this red filament from Alien 3D. This one's like a magenta. It's kind of hard to see, so again, look for the video. And on the Prusa end, we have 3 different kinds of Prusament. We've got a royal blue and jet black. This is a call forward, but the blue is my favorite color. Remember this. They have this beautiful lipstick red, as they call it, and black. Again, another really nice red. And then I was so excited by this, but they had a marble and black, which is another beautiful color. I'm really excited to have all those. Here is the lime color from Alien 3D. I might actually have to go and buy this because this is such a unique color. I've never seen it before. And then, again, I have such a fondness for this blue that they gave out. But that's not all of the filament that I got. That's just the filament, like, samples that I got.
Why don't you toss up that Jang thing I just sent you?
You know me too well. You know me too well. You know exactly what I was going to get to. So,
seeing as you busted me for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I ended up stealing as much as I could from Josh and from the table. I'm kidding.
But if we toss that last banner up I sent you, then
yeah, right.
Be good for things.
So I don't think it comes out on the screen. Tell me that's not perfect Hatsune Miku color. My sister was so excited. She's like, now you can start printing me more Hatsune Miku stuff.
Let's see that sponsor logo.
What's up?
Let's see that sponsor logo.
Oh shit, I can't get it on the camera. Hold on. There we go. Jam key high speed PLA. There it is.
I'm still working on.
Showing all that stuff off to them. But this filament reminds me of the Polymaker's like special color. It's like Polymaker teal or something like that.
It's on par with the color that your character's in.
It's a little bit lighter. It's like Hatsune Miku like teal, but my sister's favorite color is teal, so she was like crapping her pants over it because she was like, I finally got my color. And that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, I need to grab that for Gigi. I also grabbed... so Inland had these really sick pins. Look, they look like little filament spools. Isn't that cute, Kirby?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's sick. Look at what I got.
What's that?
Big Tree Tech rubber ducky. So that they can continue to not watch my videos where I complain about them, because then they'll be mad at me. I also got this Alien 3D little keychain that'll go on the wall. You guys know which wall, along with the pin. I like to decorate my wall with the collaborations, like grabbing the stuff. If you see my videos, you've seen this where I put my water bottle. I love these as coasters, the Wham Bam silicone. So this is another one. Mike also uses his, even though he's not a 3D printing guy. Oh, before we went in, I told him, I was like, you got to be the, like, you just pretend that you're, like, the most interested person ever in 3D printing. He was like, okay. And that's how I was able to get so much filament. You know, it's a good... Oh. So another... I've only got a few more things left to show off, and then I can continue to talk. So Protopasta had a spin the wheel giveaway thing. Mike and I spun it on Saturday, and we each got a 30% off coupon for the website. And I was like, oh, great. Now I'll never use this. And then I went on Sunday because they started giving out free filament, and... ya boy won! So I grabbed... This color is incredibly hard to see in person. It's probably going to be near impossible to see on stream. Yeah, that is nearly impossible to see.
I ended up getting some of that that pet one.
Pet from... who?
The high flow one? The high temp one?
High temp pet. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Fusion filaments?
Fusion filaments?
Fusion filaments, the remember you brought me specifically over to it?
Oh jeez.
Trindium green, the HT pet.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. I didn't buy too much filament this time around because I was like, I don't really need any filament right now, and also I talked to Micro Center, and they were like, my Micro Center is going to be running their filaments on sale for Black Friday, and I was like, I'll just grab them. And Kirby, I got an answer for you.
I don't need filament. I'm like, who doesn't need filament? F off then. Like,
I need to get a better setup for the filament because it's all just like in boxes on my floor because I overstocked my shelves with it. But Kirby, we were talking about what's Polymaker and what's Sunlu, like for Inland. So Sunlu makes their PLAs, their TPUs, their PETG, or they make the PLAs and the PETGs and the other filaments. Polymaker makes their TPUs.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's insider info. So anybody that heard that, you didn't hear that from me, unless Micro Center is more open about that. It didn't seem like that was like an insider like thing.
I think most people know that that Inland isn't like they don't make their own filament. It's more of like a white label sort of thing.
Well, so when I say they make them, they have an Inland like blend.
Oh,
it's
okay,
not
okay.
just it. Yeah, so if you take a Sunlu roll and an Inland roll, they're not going to print the same because they're different blends. But they are the company that Micro Center contracts to make their filament.
Them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know about that, and then to ask them was really cool. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to talk about maker coins, and then I'll talk about the last two filaments that I have, and then I think that's pretty much it for the like stuff to show off. The rest will just be talking about the event. So I wasn't really big into the maker coin stuff until afterwards, and then I was like, shit, I should have grabbed more of those maker coins.
It is, I think, the funnest highlight, or just like takeaways, and everybody kind of did their own thing, you know.
Well, I think the reason that I didn't like them is because I can't make them. So I was like, well, I can't participate, so it's not as cool. But now after I've seen them, I'm like, shit, I really should have made like a maker coin because these are really cool.
I gotta stop you because you could have easily just did a swap on the first layer and then a swap on your last layer, and you could have kept it a couple different colors.
Nah, these ones are too often. They've got like multicolors in them.
Well, you could have done that with some fancy G code. Have you seen how I do the? I make some Aperture Science keychains.
I'd have to reach out to you about that.
It prints out.
So I could do like Karen and just put a sticker on it.
It prints 3 layers of blue and then goes back and prints 3 layers of orange.
No way, bro's got Hue Forge.
3 layers.
Bro's got Hue Forge at home. we got the Walmart Hue Forge.
Though.
Anyway, so the maker coins that I got, first off, Karen, the lady that makes the really cute stuff. I'm sorry. Her design is very unique. It's got the little smile on it.
She's fun. She reaches out to me every now and again.
I wish I could connect. I might have to reach out to her and connect further because her stuff is like some of the cutest stuff I've seen at the rep wraps. I love it.
She informs me I'm dyslexic. I'm well aware.
So we've got the 2 different recreator. Was there 3 or just 2? I thought there were the 2 green ones were just recolors of the same one.
I did 2 main ones, and there was like anything else. These things sometimes don't work. So that was the biggest thing where people like the QR code didn't work. So it's good to make sure your QR code works before you print 1,000 of them, you know.
So we've got the blue one, that's really cool, and then we got the green one.
So my first batch of maker coins went right into my shredder and got turned back into filament. So it's like still one of those things where like I'm literally like making mistakes and then turning it back into filament that I'm gonna print with afterwards, and that's the talking to people that like that's the dream that we've had for the last 10 years, and people are just like, what?
I was just gonna say, shoot, as I was looking through the coins, I dropped I must have dropped 3D Printing Nerd's other coin because he gave me this coin, and I was like, I'll talk about our conversation that we had actually
later.
Can I
have another one?
And
I have more?
No, I asked him for one, and I was like, "Oh, this is super cool! Like the design is so sharp. Look at that. That's 3D printed. I would expect nothing less from him, but like, holy shit, that's so clean."
No, you could hardly tell that mine's 3D printer nerd. So like that's the thing is some of them are like
Well, so the thing is, then he gave me another one because he's like, "Oh, this one's like my not as good one. Take a different one." And the other one he gave me, he has his own filament, right? It's like Matter Hackers or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's Protopasta.
It's some special name that he asked for it. I can't remember it. But anyway, he was like, this one's made with
blue.
Yeah, that's it. The Hi-Fi blue. So the one in the Hi-Fi blue doesn't have as sharp of a logo on it, but it's made out of his filament. So it's cooler. He was like, "Oh, actually, take one with the Hi-Fi blue as well cuz I want you to have a Hi-Fi blue one." It's like, "Oh, that's so sweet." So, first off, I got this one cuz it has a cute turtle on it, but also this guy was showing off that like open source AMS that you were talking about, Kirby. I forget the name of it, But
Enraged rabbit carrot.
no, not that one. The other one.
No?
Not the rabbit feeder. The other one that you showed me. Like
Chameleon.
no.
Oh, 3D. No.
No.
Those are the
It
only two
literally
that I
is just
care
like a.
about.
It's just like a an AMS. It almost looks identical to an AMS, but specifically
I don't
built for
remember what it's called.
Vorons.
I don't remember what it's called.
That's the enraged rabbit.
No, the enraged
No,
rabbit
there's
is
one
different.
that looks like an AMS as well.
Yeah, and it's completely open source and that
I think it's
stuff.
based off of the Enraged Rabbit, but I don't know if somebody wanted to make it like enclosed like the AMS. I don't know.
But
Exactly.
it had lights all over it, and then they had little turtles on each. They had little turtles on each filament, and they would light up when you like put filament in when you took it out.
That's how the Enraged Rabbit carrot feeder works. So I'm pretty sure it's based off of that, just enclosed.
Yeah. Anyway, I just really like that, and also it had ties to the stuff that you always talk about. So I was like, oh. Also, so this is Protopasta's maker coin. It's made with heat activated filament. So hopefully I can heat this up, so you can see. But the colors. Oh yeah, no, holy shit. I'm like, I must be really nervous
Those were
or something.
super fun. You snagged me one of those, and I was going through my coins the other night. Just
Yeah, because I didn't know what was going on because I thought they were like, oh, it
opened up into an infill.
They were like, oh, it's heat treated, and I was like, oh, what is that? Like, or it swaps when it's under heat. I've only seen the UV ones that switch when you introduce them to UV light. So I was like, oh, what, like whatever. And then I was holding onto it in my pocket, and I pulled it out, and it was a completely different color. I'm like, what the hell is this maker coin? I don't remember picking this up. Anyway, look at that.
Really
Look at it
cool,
now. It is a
shroud
completely different color. Look at that.
if you're doing like some
It's-
sort of shroud that you need to make sure that's like, oh, is it warm? Is it cool? So you can at least be like, oh, right now it's warm, so
But
that it's
look at how impressive that is. It's a light blue and an orange, and then it goes to a purple and a yellow. Or a purple and a pink, my bad.
Get some of that filament. That's cool.
That is so cool. I don't even know what filament it is. I should
doing
have.
lighters for people who like lighter.
I'm going to let this sit over here and hopefully cool down, and you can see. So there's a last look at it before it cools down. It's already starting to cool down, and it's I'm going to hold it up against my fan maybe. Oh no, that's blowing hot air into it. So it'll sit there and cool down, and I'll hold it up so you guys can see it
I know a
one more
bunch
time.
of filament manufacturers make temperature color changing filament. I haven't bought any.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
why
one
I
of those
haven't
where
bought
it's
any. Maybe
like,
I should just buy some.
well, because one of the problems that I have is there's no really great way to buy less than a kilogram from places, because you always feel like you're getting ripped off if you buy those like sample spools, like that that the 3D pens use. So it's like there's not a great way unless you go to a rep festival to test out filaments. That's my biggest complaint of somewhere like Micro Center, because Micro Center has the ability where you can go in and you can visibly look at all the filaments, but they don't have like paint swatches. They have like the pieces of plastic like that Bamboo has, but those are pieces of plastic. They don't tell you how they're going to print. But they've been getting better about that. At Rep this year, they had a whole curtain of made out of squares that were printed with their filament. And I was like, finally, they're answering the exact question that I had, was they don't really have
They
paint
also
swatches
did
with the print.
in one of their new stores, and I don't know if this is ever going to come to the old stores because it takes up a lot of room.
Yeah.
They have that really cool like conveyor belt thing for their filament.
Oh, dang, that's sick. I wish I could see that.
Like you find a swatch that you like,
Mhm.
you scan it on their thing, and then it rotates the shelf and lights up where the filament is for you to grab.
So this is the reason I'm not showing it all fully. It's not very interesting. The only filament I bought was Soraya. It's an 85A TPU. It's in just black, so it's not very interesting. I don't know when that'll be on a video. But yeah, that was
Soraya makes some really cool resins, so I'm
yeah,
interested to see
they
what
make
their
a lot of
filament
high
is.
quality, like expensive filaments. That's why I never use it,
Yeah.
because I'm cheap and broke and poor. The last thing I want to talk about. So do you remember what? So two questions, Kirby. Do you remember what I did at Midwest Rep with the Prusa booth?
What do you mean?
I went up to the guy and I was like, "Hey, I'm leaving. but I really like the filament. And he was like, well, actually, what you can do is I'll just give you a bunch of filament. And he filled up my suitcase.
Yeah.
So one of the guys from the Prusa booth came over to the Recreator booth and was asking for maker coins, I believe, or something like that. I gave him something from the table. And then I was like, well, hey, when I stop over later, you gotta hook me up with some filament then, because like I hooked you up, you gotta hook me up. And then we laughed, like I didn't say it like to be a prick, I said it like as a joke. I was like, wow, you gotta get me then. And we laughed. He gave me an entire roll of filament.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Hell yeah.
I was he literally there was the Prusa XL was printing, and he went to like the back of the Prusa XL and just pulled it off and put it in a box. So like, if you open the box, it's literally just it's like just an open filament that they were literally printing with. He was like, "Here, you can have this. We don't want to take it back with us."
My guess is they probably just didn't want to take it back with them. So
and I'm like, that's super cool.
Hell yeah.
That's like, hey,
hell yeah.
That's something I would have done. Be like, yeah, just take this, get it out of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm so fucking excited because this blue is literally like the blue that I want. Like this is perfect.
Wait, is it the one that's got sparkles in it?
No, I don't know. You know Prusa film, and it always looks like it has sparkles in it.
No,
but this is the
one with sparkles.
This is the blue that they were showing off. It's the PLA Blend Royal Blue for anybody that's interested.
Yeah, Royal Blue.
I was like, I went, you're seriously like, you want me to take this? And he was like, yeah. He said, I'm trying to remember what he said because it was wonderful what he said, and I want to use this to then talk about the event as a whole because it was such a, not humbling because I feel like that's like negative, but like to see the amount of people that were like, no, Ace, you're cool. Like give yourself more credit. But anyway, he said they should call it Wondertopia because everybody here is wonderful. You included. And I'm like, holy shit, that's so amazing. Like, thank you so much. That made me feel so great. I was like, oh my gosh. But for anybody in the audience that's wondering, this is my first roll of Prusament filament. Every other time I've printed with Prusament, it's been just like the sample spools from Rep Wraps. So this will be my first official like full roll of Prusament. Josh, did you manage to get Prusament from them or no?
Well, so the April Fool's Day filament that came out.
Yeah.
That one time.
I don't know what that was. You got to tell me. I thought you made it yourself.
No, so I think it was 2 years ago. Prusa, they do April Fool's stuff, and this was like legit, like real filament. They did, I think, 1,000, and they sold out in maybe like 10 minutes.
What is it?
It's hexagonal filament. So
okay. I thought I remember they
like these, like their spool has the hexagon, so it literally is shaped like that, and so it was like a joke that it printed better. And
that's so funny.
You're talking about like maybe like being apprehensive or shy or just like not going up to people and like fanboying. So like literally, if I didn't go to the Prusa booth when I did. Like, Joseph was just putting on his backpack to leave, and I was like, oh, you're about to leave? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm Josh from Recreator. Can you sign my April Fool's filament? And he's just like, you like it? Should be a good product? I'm like, yeah, do it. And so he was so cool, man. Just like, he was so shot, and he just wanted to leave. So to actually, like, give me, just like 5 minutes of his time, he took a selfie with me. He signed the filament. Like, that was like another highlight for me where I'm like, if I waited and hesitated any longer, he would have been gone, And the last 2 years, that's what happened. I was like, oh, I don't want to bother him. He looks tired, This time I was like, F it. Like, I'm going in,
Yeah. That was awesome. I had forgotten that they sold that. You know what? That's a great transition.
So for me, that's just on my shelf as like, I'm not gonna like sell it maybe one day it will be worth $10,000 and I'll need to sell it.
I think he'll then take back his signature.
Yeah.
So other stuff I wanted to mention. I did actually go up and just say screw it and talk to people. I was actually on 2 live streams this weekend. One, I don't know the name of the person I did the live stream for. But the others was Filament Stories, which I haven't heard back from her.
She's
But
fun.
that was like, okay, so I want to talk about like fanboy moments for a little bit. Like, this is my little aside about fanboy moments. So I was on Filament Story streams, which was fucking so cool. All right, I just got to be really candid with that because I've been watching Filament Stories for like a year, and my mom and my sister, that's how I got them into like 3D printing, was by showing them Filament Stories shorts, and that's why I edit my shorts and make and film my shorts the way that I do, is kind of to try and it's inspired by Filament Stories, and I'm currently redesigning my entire like office
She
space.
is one of the only, I don't want to say the only, but she's one of the most like I'm gonna
I would
sound
say
like an asshole.
non-maker like
Well, no,
YouTubers.
she's a maker, but
No, I
like, you
mean
know,
like in the way, in the style that she edits, it's very approachable to
oh sure,
non-makers. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
meant. My bad.
On the lines of like being an influence and whatnot, like there's women out there, but she's one of the main women that's actually like promoting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very cool. And the one filament manufacturer, Polar Filament, was working with her, and last year Gloop worked with her. So she's had big talent or big money behind her. Not, I shouldn't say big money. She's had big like support behind her. So I'm very excited. If any of you guys are here from her stream, that is cool because I got to rep my stream on her stream, which was really cool. Um, I'm hoping I get bigger in the future so I could do more stuff like that. That was like I was going giddy because transitioning over into meeting 3D printing nerd. I tried to be cool because I guarantee he gets it a lot, and I don't want to just go up to people and be like, "Hi, I'm your biggest fan." But I I don't know if I told. Well, Josh, you were there when I told 3D printing nerd. But the reason that I went to Rep Rap last year was because I saw his coverage of the Recreator at 2021's or 2022. I can't remember which year it was. At that Rep Rap, where like he did that whole big video with you. That was
Oh,
what got me to go to Rep Rap so that I
that
could
was
then meet you.
with that was like 60 seconds, and so
No,
like
the
everybody
full
after,
video.
wait, which one? For
The,
Joel
in
didn't do a full video with me.
in 21 he did.
No, I got 60 seconds.
What are you talking about? He had a whole video about. I'll find it. I'll find it. I'm not crazy, because I watched it, and that's what got me to watch your.
If
Or
there's a full video, you better find it
I
because
am
I'm
I
gonna
going
feel like a
am
giant-
I going crazy, chat?
I'm gonna feel like a giant asshole if they actually did do that, and I've been angry for the last 2 years.
That's so funny. Hold on,
But,
I'm gonna
I
look that
got
up on
so
my phone while you.
I got a 60 seconds with him, which I feel like I bombed because I talked about pultrusion. I never talked about, oh, we're working with soda bottles and turning it into filament. I just kept talking about pultrusion.
Yeah.
So, because I'm trying to like educate people about the proper terminology, so I just kept saying pultrusion, and I got back from that event and everybody was like, dude, no one knows what the F pultrusion is. Like, you didn't even mention that it's coming from soda bottles, like, or just plastic bottles in general. So I felt like, oh man, I totally bombed that, you know?
Yeah.
So like this one was like, he gave me another 60 seconds just because it was like, yo, can I redeem myself, please?
It's kind of funny. I'm trying to find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I'll find it for you later. But
Doesn't exist.
his video on East Coast Rep Rap 21 was what got me to go in 23, I guess it would be, because it was last year. Yeah, either way. That's what, cuz I was like, "Oh shit, like this is something that I could like legitimately just make." Cuz I've been looking for a recycling thing that you can like I could make myself, cuz a lot of the stuff that's existed is like incredibly complicated or incredibly expensive. Like Precious Plastics makes a lot of really good machines, but they're expensive. Like they're a couple
Oh,
$1,000s.
I mean, that's
And
where kind of like I started, and that's when I found um I found Petbot through this kid Kai, who was working with it and pretty much doing the same thing, but up in Canada. And it was like, oh wow, like there's something that already exists that I could buy. And at the time, I had the money, and but when I got it and I started working with it, it was just like, ugh, did I really spend this obnoxious amount of money for something that can be done for about $100? And so that's where like people are like, yeah, I gotta go buy it. I gotta go buy it. I don't want to build it. I don't want to build it. But then you end up paying for it.
yeah. So I said that so you guys did the 60 seconds, which was really cool. I was kind of in the background, so if you see my shoulder in the video, that was me. Um I was like "Oh, am I going to get a second to rep my stuff?" But 60 seconds goes by quick.
Oh my God, guy, that's where it's like, can I please get a redemption from the first year? Because I would have loved to get a 5 minute with Joel. Like I feel like I would have gotten way more, way, 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 way more out in 5 minutes
I
than
got to
I
be
get.
real though. I think 60 seconds is the perfect amount of time to pitch Recreator. You did a phenomenal job this year. And
I only did a phenomenal job because I tripped over
you
myself.
didn't trip. You got to be nicer to yourself. That video, whether you like to admit it or not, is the reason that I came to Rep last
All
year
right,
and
all
met you.
right.
So like it got me interested because in research and in presentation, we always talk about you leave gaps where you really know what you're talking about because then you force people to ask questions you're already prepared for. So they often say the stuff that you know the best, leave out of a presentation. And it seems like a lot of the stuff that you mentioned just gave enough of a taste where people would be like, I got to go and look up more. At least
That's
that's
one
how
of the
I
best
found it
things. So
from
like,
my end.
and I think I saw you doing it too, where it was just like, you gotta like tell people what I I made I asked questions. I was like I handed them bottles that had the poop in it, where it was like, this is bamboo poop, this is shredded bamboo poop.
Plastic, pieces of plastic,
You know?
not real
And it's
poop.
like it was like a weight question where I'm like, here, hold this. And now they got a physical example that they're holding, and I'm like, which one weighs more? They're like, this one. I'm like, great. Which one are you gonna send to me? They're like, this one. And I'm like, why would you send me like less poop? So I want more poop. Like, like send me the
Give
denser one. And they're
me
like,
the
oh,
full
okay, yeah,
schmear.
that makes sense.
So
So it was a good.
it's all about figuring out what the person is interested in and then talking around that. There were a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times where I don't know if you caught on. I used the same expression at Midwest, especially because a lot of the people that are 3D printing nerds are a little bit uncomfortable speaking with others, and so you never want to jump down their throat and make them uncomfortable. So I always stand a little bit back. I'll say, "Hey, you just looking, or you got any questions?" Don't want to jump down your throat and make you uncomfortable, like a joke to like break the ice. Um, and that's how you get a lot of people that were just walking by to stop and like actually like.
Oh, I never let anybody walk. But if I see someone walk by, I'm like, yo, you forgot my trifold, and then they come back and they're like, oh, you can talk.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
yeah.
never want somebody to feel like they're obligated to take it and then just throw it out. But if I can give them
Everybody's
like their
obligated. Take my trifold.
yeah, if I can get their elevator pitch. But I think the bigger thing is, and we've been seeing it recently. There's been a lot of people that have been joining the Discord because I kept saying even if you're just like tenuously interested, join the Discord because we talk a lot about the stuff that we do with it, and that's what encouraged me to eventually finish my make was talking to you and talking to the people in the Discord because I was like, you know what, if I have any issues, I have somebody to fall back on. Um, so I think that the Discord is a massive resource for people that are on the fence. On the topic of Recreator, I got my thing, my build number, and look who it's signed by. It's signed by the man himself. Look.
Oh my god, I
We were
searched
we were
Kyle.
hunting for a Sharpie that whole weekend. We could not get a Sharpie. Should have just
It's
gone
like
and
the
bought one.
stupid things that just don't end up.
Well, I remember saying to myself, I had a bag of Sharpies that I had in my hand when I was leaving my house, and I went, Psh, everybody's got a Sharpie, and then I left them at home. So it's
Yeah, and then
very
no one's
funny.
got a Sharpie either. You're
And then
like, oh my
nobody's
god,
got a
no one
Sharpie.
has a goddamn Sharpie.
So I'm gonna turn off the cam because I'm just doing the Italian thing and talking with my hands here, and you guys can see that. Also, I want to show off more of the PowerPoint with some pictures because I want to move into some of the other stuff. The to kind of transition us out of cam view to that's all the physical stuff that I have to show off. So I have nothing else physical to show off, but verbal to talk about. So I kind of had a heart to heart with 3D Printing Nerd where I told him that like his video was what got me interested in Recreator. The thing that I thought was the coolest about talking to him is he's a very nice guy. I was expecting him to be like, buddy, I'm busy. I can't talk to random Joe Schmo like you. And I said this to Chep ironically because I feel like now we're buddies, even though we're really not. But I was like, yeah, I felt a little bit embarrassed to like go up and say hi to 3D Printing Nerd. I kind of wanted a selfie, but I didn't ask for it because I'm just like a guy. And I didn't want to be like, hi, my name is Ace Gamer. I'm a content creator. Like, I'm one of you. Because I only have, like, 200 some subscribers. And so I feel a little uncomfortable being like, oh, yeah, I'm a content creator like you. Because he has, like, thousands more subscribers than me. And so that gap I feel. But Chep, and I thought, I was like, Chep, I'm going to cry when you say this. But,
Can I stop you for a minute?
yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So, I totally didn't know who I was interacting with or whose model I was printing, but so I printed up the 3D Printopia keychain, right?
Yeah.
And so I posted it on Printables, and then someone's like, oh, cool, I did my own, and they had a remix of someone else's Benchy, and they just added, 2004, because they're like, yeah, I'm going to 3D Printopia. Had no idea their age or who they were, boy or girl, and so randomly this girl came up and said, "You printed my model, thank you." And with the father, and the father's just like, "Why is my daughter talking to this guy?" And it was just like, "Oh yeah, you're you printed the Benchy," and it was just like one of those things where like you don't know whose stuff you're like printing, who you might be interacting with, and so the fact that like
It's so humbling.
like
that.
you gave a kid their first like couple Prusa points, and we talked about the Prusa points, and I was just, oh, you probably got some Prusa points off that. She's like, I sure did. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm about to change in my Prusa points for a Prusa Mini. She's like, oh my god, that would be so awesome. And then I just saw like stuff, everybody's posting stuff, and like one of her things came up on YouTube. She posted just like a quick 5-second video of her trip to 3D Printopia in the back of the car. It was just her parents like talking while she's like showing off the Benji boat, and I don't know, man. It's just that type of thing where it's just like you going up to Joel and being like, oh, I'm just I'm a modest little YouTuber, like that guy, he started like that too, and you going and telling him that probably makes him feel good still, that like he's
True.
making an impression on people.
That's true.
Humble sauce, bro. Humble sauce. It all goes full circle.
I gotta remember that better when I'm interacting. But that's kind of what Chep said too. He was like, "Hey, there's some stuff that I could learn from you too." Even though I've been in the game this long. And what he said is he was like, "No, you can say like we're both content creators, and you can talk about us." Because whether you have 200 subs or you have as many subs as I have, or you've been, making content as long as I have, we still are both content creators, and don't diminish yourself. And I was like, that's crazy, because I've been watching Chep as long as I've been 3D printing. So like to hear that from him, I was like, oh man, that's like so sweet. And I was like, dude, you're.
So like look at him like next time you go see him, be like, I'm just talking to my dad, you know, like bust his nuts, like.
Well, so then I was like, yeah, I really like your shorts, the way that they edit down like old videos, because one of his recent shorts talks about like a Harry Potter prop. I was like, oh, I remember this from like back in the day, and he's like, oh, no way. And I was like, I do shorts too, and he's like, well, maybe I should, like look at how you do your shorts. I was like, I'd love to give you some pointers on the shorts there, because I know shorts are kind of new for some of the people that have been in it for a while.
I mean, I appreciate you hosting. It's like anything else. I hate hosting. I feel like there's like a million and one things to do, and it's just like, well, I want to show a million and one things to do, but now I'm paying attention to the comments, making sure I'm in focus, making sure the stream's not dipping quality, and it's a lot. So it's like it's good to have someone else's perspective and someone else's hand, So it all goes full circle.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome to get to talk to them, and Chep did say he's gonna do his Recreator video soon, so that
Yeah,
would
I'm
be that would be
excited. I
fun.
mean, like, it's like he mentioned, it's just like pulling off the band-aid, right? You just gotta focus and do it. I've got the same. I can't hold anything against him or anybody else, just as far as like how long things take people to do. I've got several things I gotta get accomplished, and yeah, sometimes it really is just down to that. Like, I just gotta
Gotta sit
effing
down and do
do it.
it.
Just gotta do it, and um. I did that with the Derby racer that won me, a sponsor first place. I said I gotta do it. It's the one thing that I can accomplish that I'll actually be able to submit into for the weekend and still have like participation in something.
Yeah.
And so and I wasn't gonna do it, and something in me just said just do it. So, right?
Yeah,
We
no,
gotta
it
get
was
Shia LaBeouf in there. Just do it.
it was fun, and there were a lot of people who said they wanted to collaborate with us in the future. I say us very loosely because I don't want to ride on your coattails or anything. But one of the guys that I was talking to, he does a lot of cosplay, so I talked to him about cosplay, and
You have to make me some coattails now so that you can ride on them.
yeah, real.
Next year, man. You're gonna handle the booth, and I'm gonna dress up as Captain Recreator and go
I like that. We're gonna swap places.
toss maker coins at people.
So we'll talk about that when we get into our final takeaways. I don't want to spoil any of that, but I do have some stuff that I want to talk about specifically in regard to like final thoughts / things for next year, because I have some of that, as well as things for Rocky Mountain. But I'm now like, I don't know. I know Kirby, you're still here, right, Kirby? Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah.
So I talked to them about some ideas for cosplay for MagFest. So I gotta start coming up with the crazy cosplay that I'm gonna do for MagFest. You gotta do it. I'm trying so hard to convince Kirby to cosplay for MagFest. You gotta do it.
I don't know if I'll be able to do a full cosplay.
Okay, all right.
With it.
All right.
I gotta
But
travel with it.
okay,
It's a
so
big problem.
you've seen the cosplays that I've done. That's the level of cosplay you got to do. You don't have to be that guy that's in a film
Yeah.
accurate suit. You got to do it like the way that I do it, where instead of being there's two ways that, not to be like sexist or mean, but for guys there's two levels of cosplay you can successfully do. Either one, the art of the cosplay is really impressive. Like you do something really unique or like out of the box, that kind of stuff. Or it's incredibly screen accurate, looks like it came off a movie set. Those are the really two ways that you can make like a quote unquote successful cosplay as a male. Oh, new subscriber. That scared the shit out of me. Oh my gosh. That is I'm so glad I updated that, because now it just scares the absolute shit out of me whenever it happens. Anyway, so yeah, no, man, dude, I want to do a Gura cosplay so bad, but like, I don't think people at MagFest are gonna get it. But the guy was like, "Yeah,
Who
somebody
cares
did
if
a
people don't get it?
somebody did a Gura
Let's do it
cosplay
anyways.
at a furry convention he was at, which I was like, oh no way, I got to tell Kirby. Anyway, they did a Gura cosplay, and she had her trident, and when she hit it into the ground, like lights shot up the sides in a spiral. I'm like, I know exactly how I could do that with 3D printing. Oh my god, I got to do this. So now I'm like thinking of how I'm gonna make the electronics. I'm like, fuck, I was gonna do the portal gun and do like a portal cosplay. Because then that's gaming to fit with the theme of gaming and MagFest. But I don't know. I still we gotta work together on it. I still think that if you're down to cosplay, we should do the Tech Priest and Gura, because I think that would be hilarious. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So that was cool to talk about cosplaying. I want to do more of that. I want to do more Recreator in cosplay or Pet in cosplay, whatever that is. Because I have a theory that Pet will be better to cosplay with than PLA. And the reason for that, I found out, is because the glass transition point of PLA is so low that just sanding can get to the glass transition point, and that's why it gets so hard to sand, because as it heats up, it gets harder and harder and harder, and it's like a negative feedback loop until it just melts and warps. And I didn't know that. That's a very interesting reason for why PLA isn't great for cosplay. I think Pet might be better for it, which I'll have to see. So look forward to developments in that. That's what I'm going to be working on for possibly MagFest. Definitely for next year for 3D Printopia. I wanted to do full cosplay for the event. I actually talked to Josh about this in DMs because I thought they were going to have a cosplay competition, but it wasn't like a formal thing that they were doing. It was just like they were showing off cosplay. If they had done something like the 3D printed derby, but for cosplay, I would have done that in a heartbeat. But they didn't, so I didn't. Other thing I wanted to talk about, since I don't know if Dreams is watching, but if he is, I made sure to get to interview and talk to the people at the Baby Belt. So Kirby, I think you're gonna think this is really cool. So the Baby Belt, oh my gosh, oh my god. So the Baby Belt here, you can see, oh man, there we go. So it can print both belt size and like normal Cartesian. It can swap between the two of them.
Oh wait, so you can like.
Yeah, I did.
make
I
it
guess I
4xy,
did.
basically.
In this video, I guess it doesn't show off the. But this will actually
Oh,
like
cool.
move so that it
Yeah.
can print vertically up and down, and it can also print on its side like that. And he actually shows it. It'll print like this, and it'll move over to this place and print. So it can do it on the same print. Like it can print a mix of like that 45-degree angle and up and down. And it's all clipper based, which I know you'll love. Also, I don't think I got a video of it happening, but they had these spiders dropping into these cages down here as they were printing, to show off how you can like use the Baby Belt in this configuration to print infinite pieces.
Like one of the best scenarios that Rob could have done, just to be like, look, this is how you can do your production. Like,
Yeah.
awesome.
One of my friends wants to buy the I think it's like the Ender Schmeck. I don't know what the name. The CR30. That's it. He wants to buy one of those so bad. I should show him. I'm gonna show him this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the CR30 has some issues still.
I mean,
it takes a bit of
all of
to
it.
make it reliable.
All of it has issues, but the Baby Belt looks like something I might delve into. But I can't take.
Kit coming out, so that's a plus.
He has a kit coming out.
Yep, he's working with Fabrico. It's like legit.
Oh yeah.
He sold a couple at the show, so.
Oh, maybe I should have bought one.
It's still, they're still like, just rolling out with it, but it seems like, this is where people will go through it and be like, okay, everything was there, it looked good, and they'll push it out into a product. So you probably end up seeing it in another month or two.
Dang, I'll have to watch that. I'm The coolest thing for me, I know this is such a stupid thing to think is cool. The fact that it's printing on a piece of fabric is really cool to me.
So that is literally the best. That's my most exciting thing. Like I've got
Okay,
one
good. I'm
too.
not crazy for thinking that.
It's got Ninja Turtles on it, and so like literally like if you go
Oh!
to Walmart, they've got fabric there that are called fat fat quarters.
So, I
So
don't. I just want to interrupt you for a second. I am more
yeah,
than familiar. My mom used to be a seamstress, and
okay, yeah.
so
My my
we are
two so
very
my
familiar
mom
with sewing.
my mom sees this printer and she was like, "What's that?" You know, and I'm like, "It's cool,
Yeah, I
right?"
know. And
So now at
and
the end of the day,
honestly,
like when
sewing is how I explain 3D printing to people, because a spool of thread is basically a spool of filament.
Mhm.
The only
So the
difference
cool
is
thing with
that's like it's not sewing it; it's printing it, but it works
he's
very much the same.
he's using like an iron-on like material that makes the fabric in such a way where it like pushes into the fabric, so it's like got kind of like a release factor when it starts to print on it.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, like it's like people get into Converses that are customized with different fabrics and stuff. Like back in the 80s and 90s, they had different runs like themes, Batman themes, and different movie themes and stuff. And so this is just very like, oh hey, I love this character, and oh look, I can get fabric, great.
Yeah. It's
So it's
this
very doable.
and the Voron stuff has been convincing me that maybe I need to build a printer, because I really dig the customizability of this kind of stuff, really making your printer your own. And since I made that printer that can take the 2.85 millimeter filament, now I have experience with basically building my own printer. So I feel like I might have the experience needed to do something like this, and it's really enticing me. This and
Fun.
the Rook are the two that I'm like really interested in.
Once
Um,
you build a kit, you'll be like, oh, okay.
yeah,
I not then you it's just like doing a recreator. Once you build, people are like, oh my god, I built the recreator. I really wanted the recreator to be, more of
Oh, speaking of
like
Recreator, I
actual
forgot the one
build.
thing I was going to show off, but I'll show that off at the end when I talk about everything. That reminded me.
So it's nice when you can find those when you find the builds that are relatively easy. Like that's the Art Me, man. Oh my god, the Art Me
I
build
want one
is
so bad. I think I might end up pulling the plug on it this
detailed.
weekend, because or like pulling the trigger on it this weekend, because it's on sale right now. And
I hate kits. I hate kits. Coming from a perspective of making my own kit and
yeah.
putting other people's kits together, I hate kits. And the Art Me is one of the best documented kits.
Oh, I was going to say,
Very
well,
well.
that's great that the art me's good. That's
And the fact
that's
that
good.
it's open source is even like cooler because that's just gonna, you're over here like, oh wow, the Art Me is polished. It's like just imagine what we all do with the Art Me moving forward.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm gonna go off. I just know I won't be able to hold myself back from just yapping the hell out of the art me. Let's save that for a future Maker Tuesday, or until I can get more work on that. But I want to. We've yapped. Kirby, how much have we yapped about the art me
Quite a
on
bit.
Minecraft
Quite a
Tuesday?
bit.
Quite a
I mean,
bit. I talk about
I
it
can tell
all the
you
fucking time. To see it
down
in
the road.
person completely changed my like. I've always been really interested in it, like, and I wanted to make it so bad, but I've always been like, it's not possible. Like, nobody has really
You
tested
wanna
it.
hook me up.
Nobody has got usable filament out of it yet. They all say it's hard to use. I'm gonna wait. And then I saw yours there, and I'm like, that's it. No, I gotta make it. Cause again, no offense towards you, but if you can make it work, anybody can make it work. Cause you made the Recreator work. So
I
like,
mean, at the end of the day, like if you go on the Facebook Art Me page, there's like I think 20 of us.
oh my
So
gosh.
for me on a support group level where I'm
This
a
is
big
my
support
chance to
group,
be on the cutting edge of 3D printing technology. I'm in
legit,
it.
that's how it feels. Where it's just like people are like, "Will it take Pet One?" It's like, well, based off of the one article that one person wrote, it looks like it does.
We're about to find
And
out.
and that's where I can't justify destroying my, and I don't want to say I'm going to destroy it. It's just more of an apprehension of like I literally am sitting on a little ton of PLA waste that I can't jeopardize my one unit. So I've already put out feels to see if I can finagle one, as a representative. But if anything, I'll probably be buying one by the end of October. So
I'm gonna buy another one. Maybe we should buy them together and save on shipping. I'm kidding. It would probably be just as expensive for you to ship it to me. Anyway,
yeah,
so
we'll meet somewhere between.
so I wanna talk about ArtMe with you the next time we collaborate, because I'm hoping this weekend I'm gonna start shredding. Because I saw the shredder and I asked around. I don't know. I can't remember if I asked you or not, but the thing I was really nervous about was static electricity holding the chopped up plastic to the sides of the container.
Oh yeah, so that's actually good that you bring it up. I mean, ultimately, yeah, like that's where you're like, all right, well, how do I get static clean to stop? And so dryer sheets. I have dryer sheets in all my plastic bins. And when I'm shredding, after I shred, I just get the static dryer sheets and toss them in and give it a good shake. And that tends to, you can take it too and like wipe the sides of your plastic bins.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to help.
Well, that's good to hear, because I, from what I heard from asking at the booth,
it gets messy, dude. It gets messy.
I'll have to see. I'm probably gonna take an old paintbrush and use it as like a way to brush off the sides and everything when the static gets really bad.
So that's what I've got one for, like when I sieve, because I sieve, I go from the micro shredder into the coffee grinder into the sieve, and so yeah, I've got brushes. That's pretty much what I'm doing, and then that's just like a big ball of static. There's no way around.
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be a way, like maybe have like a different haired brush,
Yeah, that stuff I'll have to look into, but seeing you work on it, I was like, maybe this is actually really possible.
And you can stream like a live video for me, so I can always get the ArtMe like running and go through the steps of changing.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I have to do frequently, and so like that's usually when I start up the unit, I'm changing the screen out.
I'm so excited. This would be an awesome Maker Tuesday. Imagine that, Kirby. A Maker Tuesday, but we're making ArtMe filament.
Making the ArtMe. Yeah.
I would cry. That is so cool. Well,
that's on the 7th?
What's up? Oh no, I just mean like in the future. I haven't planned it out yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a heads up, and I'm getting back situated from being on the road.
Damn, that's so cool.
The ArtMe is.
We're trying to push Maker Tuesday as a day to do more than just making 3D models, but that's all I've done because I haven't quite got set up. Once I get my new office setup done, I should be able to do more of like my 3D printing stuff as an actual like video, because right now everything's like kind of like shittily placed. And hopefully in the next couple months, everything will look nicer. The camera angles will be way more consistent because I have to constantly move my cameras to not be in people's ways when they're walking, around the area. But the lighting should be more consistent because I can set up like full-time lighting. So that you should see impact some of that stuff. Anyway, let's move into final takeaways and some of the final discussion stuff, because we're starting to get into where we're going from here. So it's good. This is exactly where I wanted to go. But final takeaways, I gotta say it was a lot of fun. I was a little bit nervous considering how Midwest Rep Rap went, because I was exhausted after Midwest and I feel like I didn't get to enjoy the conference very much.
That's what happens when you man the show.
That's what happens when Kirby goes to Walmart and explodes the spring on his tire, and his whole car gets totaled on the freeway. Right,
yeah. Kirby? Trust me, that was not fun for me either.
There are so many stories about Midwest Rep Rap that make me just go like, oh God, I can't believe I did that. But like almost missing my flight was great.
You'll need to write them down for me, buddy.
I do. I gotta do a formal write up. I'll probably just take the script from my video and like jazz it up a little bit, and
I'm really happy that the break stuff happened before, but then I fixed it, and then it happened again after.
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened after I dropped you off, because that would have been.
Oh my God, I would have cried because I would have legitimately just missed my flight if that had happened. I got so lucky with that.
No, yeah, we were. Literally.
I still got a
last
print with the
second.
filament that you gave me from Midwest. But anyway, crowds are always nice. It felt shorter than Midwest, but I think that's because Midwest. I was there on Friday for Midwest as well. But yeah,
I feel
if
like there were more heads at this one at 3D Printopia than Murph.
see, I don't know. I'd like to say yes, but I feel like the reason that Midwest felt like there were less people is because there was a bigger space. Like everything was more spread out. This one feels a lot more claustrophobic. So I can't tell if that claustrophobia is because there's more people or because it's a smaller space. The space is much better for this kind of event, but like when Micro Center would do their like printer giveaway or their printer and filament giveaways, those aisles would be packed. Like you could not move through there. I'll go back and I'll show the. This is how big this
Literal
space is.
congestion. It's just, and yeah, you're like, if you didn't know that there was a contest going on and you like cut the corner to like go to one of those booths, you're like,
Yeah, like this
yeah.
area right here. This is where Micro Center was. I'll give it a little bit of space. So like from here up to here and over here, we're just packed full of people. Like you could not move. Also, my only big complaint about RepRap this year, and you would know as a vendor or quote unquote vendor, I feel like there were less people at this one, like vendors. I mean, I feel like the vendors had bigger spaces this year than they did last year, and there were less of them.
I would say that this was probably a good year of like makers and vendor sponsors, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they did a good job about having more people upstairs. So I feel like compared to last year, there was way more people upstairs, and ultimately, I think there was actually more people listed as sponsors and
Gotcha.
you
The
know,
thing
it's
that
kind of
continues
not
to.
like more compared from last year, but it was equal.
I'm surprised Printed Solid didn't have a booth where they were selling filament like last year, because I would have loved to buy that
that's
filament.
pretty much just because that there's been, you know, Printed Solid has merged with Prusa, so
And so they
there
were
was
trying to.
some conflicts of interest going on that no one wanted to have, you know, be conflicts of interest. So Printed Solid pretty much just stayed home and let Prusa have the day.
Oh. Because last year they had a combined booth where they sold a buttload of filament, and I was gonna load up on
But
filament.
that was
from
before
them.
they officially merged, I think.
I don't think
Yeah.
so, because they literally
I'm
had
pretty
the
sure.
same booth.
No, it was they pretty much like merged right after that.
They were.
and,
So I think
and
printed solid.
they
I
went
think
through
were
and
selling
dude,
for
they
some
like went
in the U.S.
they pretty much went back to their facility the next day and loaded up on filament. Like they gave away all their filament on the first day to the point where they're like, "Well, do we go back and get more?"
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go
They're,
back
like, right down
because
the street, so.
the book from RepRap last year says now bought by Prusa. So I think it happened like the week before RepRap, or like
It was around. It was, I think, July. It was like the whole like Prusa USA. It was a July announcement on, I think, the 4th of July. So
Gotcha.
you know. 2-3
But
months before.
I'm surprised they weren't doing their filament sale like they did last year. They had every type of filament was $15, and they were just selling hundreds of different filaments. I was really planning on loading up on PETG, and they didn't have anything, and I was like, damn. I didn't really get to talk to the HueForge guys too much, but Josh, you did, and you grabbed their stuff.
I love Steve. Steve is amazing. I got a TD. I've just been more really curious about it. You were with me when I got it, and
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, I'm looking at the kit like, oh, it shouldn't be too bad, but it is 100% like all soldering and
Yeah.
And I should have spent the extra $40 to get the.
That's what that guy was telling you. He's like, "Hey, spend the extra 40 so you don't have to solder." But for
It's
Kirby,
not
I don't.
that bad.
Kirby, I don't know if you
I
know
heard
what
the
it is.
opposite. Like, yo, you heard him correctly, and I heard him wrong. Like,
So, Kirby, I don't know if you know what they were selling, but they were selling. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but it's a little filament sensor that tells you like what color
Oh
is
yeah,
going
to
through.
scan, like, get the color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
And,
selling
like,
that.
not just the color, like how see-through it is or whatever.
The density.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it is
Yeah, I want one
phenomenally
of those.
integrated into HueForge now. So the fact that you can plug it in and have the software open, and it will literally read back into the software. You can now go through and catalog all the software that you have and fine tune which ones will actually like transition into other ones, or if you like need that density where it's like strong and overpowering from one to the other. It's
It's
try not to
crazy.
swear on your stream even though you're swearing out the yin yang. So, but like, dude,
Not
it's
as much as
amazing.
rain, that's for sure.
It's just amazing. It is phenomenal. So I got the beta test when Steve first came out, and I break everything. So he was just like, "Ah, you break this thing in ways that people don't use it," and I'm like, "Sorry." But on a software design aspect, it's great because, oh my god, it just within the year of it being out, it has just grown and expanded so much, so much, so much.
Yeah, it was
And
really crazy.
I'm sure you guys have seen what people are doing with like the larger printers now. They're like actually making like poster size versions of like, it's just nuts.
Well, it's not HueForge, but kind of related. Bamboo is now working on a thing with the AMS where they sell a kit that you can buy that comes with cyan, magenta, yellow, and white, and so you can
Sure, but
print. You can print like.
they're literally. I don't want to say they're stealing HueForge, but like.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm hoping that
they're
somebody
very
steals it back
things
because
I'm
that
not
idea on its surface is a really great addition because 2D printers already use that technique to get full color. It would be really interesting because then you wouldn't theoretically you wouldn't have as much waste because you'd only be using 4 different types of filament rather than having to go through all the colors that HueForge requires. It'll
Well,
be interesting if people can develop it further.
I came from M3D Quad Fusion, which is 4 in 1 out mixing. So it's actually color mixing. It's no longer.
Oh, I've
really
seen
around,
those.
But I was gonna be working like with HueForge to see if it worked any differently, and so we were able to get 16 colors out of 4 colors.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and you could get upwards to beyond that, like if you wanted to get into hue shades, like. But to think that you can take 4 colors and actually get upwards to 16 different colors out of the 4, and then to go into HueForge to do that, like you can just do gradients at that point. So nothing's being purged out or anything. It's just transitional. So it's crazy.
It's crazy. I wish I had talked more to them, but I'm just not at that stage yet to start working on HueForge yet. I've got too many projects already halfway done, and I don't think I can take on another project.
To just have it lingering around.
Yeah. So I'll keep it like keep aware of it, but I didn't have enough time to check it out.
People are killing it on the maker world, just like getting their points and stuff, because it's just like, okay, well, you can take any kind of artwork and
turn it into
turn it
something.
into HueForge and then upload it, and anyone can print it in any varying filament styles. So like everybody who prints one of those could literally end up printing a totally unique version of it because of depending on what they feed into it.
Yeah. And so other stuff. I think I basically talked about all the stuff with the people and the convention. I think now's the best time to talk about like going forward, like what I want to do with Rocky Mountain and RepRap or Rocky Mountain and Printopia of next year. I think the big thing is I would like to have more work done on a personal level on the ArtMe and the shredding end, because when I was talking I just kept saying we, but really what I meant was Josh the whole time.
Cool, man, whatever.
And so I'd like to have more done on
Oh.
my end, and we've already begun discussion about like what are those polymer blends going to look like. I want to start experimenting with that stuff. I really want to try and replicate what the Brothers Make did, where they did a test where they chopped up their injection. Now they do injection molding. They don't do 3D printing. But they did injection molding and they found, I believe it was 25 times where they took a piece and chopped it up and remelted it, and after 25 times they said, "Hey, we're really sorry guys, but we can't even give you any
We have
data.
to stop.
We can't even give you any data because we're not seeing a noticeable decrease in quality." Now, what they said in their video, and this is the thing that I want to test as a researcher, I'll tell you, like gaps in the knowledge. Um, they said they don't believe that recycling can be possible for 3D printing because it requires too high of a precision. And I heard that all weekend, and I said, "Well, hey, if high precision was something that was absolutely necessary,
I gotta
then
jump in.
we would not be able to print." Like, so let's say in a world where the stuff that the Recreator makes isn't high precision, even though we found that it makes stuff that is pretty high precision. If
It only boils down to the slicer, guys. So everybody forgets the slicer you can compensate with, and so everybody I
That's
talk
what I
to,
was
I'm
saying.
like, oh, and we're gonna compensate our low diameter in our slicer, and people are like, what?
Well, what I said to
It's like,
people is regardless of what filament you use, if it goes into the nozzle at 1.75, it comes out at zero point 0.4 or zero point 0.6. So there is always a transition in diameters that the printer is accounting for in the G code. And so if you manipulate the G code, theoretically, as long as it gets through the extruder properly, it doesn't matter what diameter it is. You know, you can print with 2.85 millimeter filament as long as you code your slicer to handle it. Like, it really does not matter what your precision is as long as your printer can handle it. And what we've shown with Recreator is
everybody's being sold 1.75, and so
yeah.
our tolerances have gotten super tight amongst brands to the point where it's like no one's even really considering that they might have to change it. But now we're getting into experimental, we're Pet One's hollow core and people don't understand it, and then our art me filament might come out under tolerance at like 1.6. So it's like, okay, we'll just compensate to 1.6 with your flow diameter. And
Yeah.
I started talking to people about that, and their eyes lit up. They're like, oh yeah, and it was like a hidden missing puzzle piece that they just weren't like thinking about.
I know Kirby's got something to say about that as Mr. Swiss over here.
What?
Mr. Micro Swiss over
Mr.
here.
Micro Swiss? What do you mean?
Because I remember I said sometimes my precision isn't super high with my Recreator filament, and you're like, well, you don't want to get a Micro Swiss thing then, because those are highly machined and they're not gonna like not having precise filament in them.
Well, no,
Oh,
if it's under, it's fine, but if you're like too far over, you
Oh
get
yeah,
clogs.
yeah.
Well, and so that's the thing is like people are like, oh, well, why is my high end nozzle clogging or this or that? And it really boils down to the extruder. Like we really do want dual gear extruder. Even when we get into the ArtMe filament, like you can run under tolerance filament if you've got a good dual gear extruder that's gonna chop on it. But
Yeah.
at some point, if you have anything below 1.6, I don't care what kind of extruder you have, it's gonna eventually not be able to push it.
Yeah, that's some of the pulls that I had from the Recreator
Or
were
you just
too
run an
small.
extrusion cube, a calibration cube for flow, and it gives you your math. You hit your cube with your calipers, and you get to your math equation to the point where your flow is balanced for your under tolerance filament, and then you just hit print, and then your prints come out like brilliant. And so like if I didn't do that, and I did have visual scenarios at the show where I was like, look, this one has layer line gaps where like it didn't start to flow properly because it was under tolerance, and you could see like this looks like a crappy print, where
Yeah.
I tolerance the other one, and I'm like, look how awesome this looks. I calibrated my slicer for my under toleranced filament. Minds were like, oh my god, it made more sense for them like going back home for even stuff that they probably had trouble with like personally outside of it, you know? They're like, oh my god, I can fix all my problems. I was having issues with that shitty filament I was about to throw out. I just lose you guys?
Oh, I'm still here. I don't know faces. Hello?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Dead air. We gotta keep
What?
it going.
What happened? What happened?
You
What?
there?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. I just jumped out for a second because I thought you were like having a conversation. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. How long was the
Oh,
air
it's
dead?
okay.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Just a hot minute.
I see. I was like, I saw Josh's guy bobbing around, and then I saw Kirby's. I'm like, Kirby's only talking if something went wrong. I'm like, shit, I gotta get back. Yeah, I was just grabbing something real quick. I was grabbing the meld unit real quick because I want to show that off.
No, just again, it's like I was just saying how pretty much that like talking about flow rates and the fact that you can compensate for them. I don't think too many people consider it an option, especially in a bamboo world where you just load up your printer and hit print. Like
Yeah.
we're we're getting to the point where like we're kind of getting away from playing and experimenting in 3D printing to the point where like that's still what you have to educate people with.
Yeah.
So one of the better scenarios was just like telling people and having like a good visual example that like this print looks like crap and not been calibrated. This one looks great and it's been calibrated, and then this is how I did it. And so one of the better things that I started showing people was that flow calibration cube, especially with Pet 1, because people are like, oh well, it's hollow core, it's not going to print correctly, and it's just like it prints out fine. We just calibrate for it.
Yeah. I the thing I kept saying was I was like, because I think cal cubes only are good for so much. But I understand a lot of engineers can't see past the cal cube. But I think the important thing to look at is some of the organic models that we showed off. I mean, I'm biased, but I think my models did a really good job of showing off what this filament can do. Because a cal cube is a cube, But you don't. How many cubes do you really print? How much stuff do you really print that has those kinds of perfect walls to them?
I mean,
Not much.
I actually like keep my little flow calibration cubes for just like odds and ends for little screws at my desk, and then sometimes for like glue or paint if I'm doing a little painting job.
But like, yeah. So that was my point. Was I
That's
was
my
like,
little void veggies at this point.
yeah. So the other thing I want to say, kind of wrap up stuff. Next year, I definitely want to, especially if I'm going to be hosting the booth majorly myself, I want to have way more of my own stuff to show off, because I felt like I didn't have very much. I just had like a little space carved out. Now, to be fair, they weren't coming to the Ace
That's
Gamer
what it
booth. They were
is.
coming to the Recreator booth. So I don't want to say too much about that because I don't want it to look
Well,
like.
it's like Doug's going to Smurf, and so at the end of the day, like Doug's gonna have a recreator there, but I wanted Doug's going. So it's just like it's the same thing with like at Rocky Mountain. I hope that you guys were able to put out your stuff, which I know you were able to with like the little eye mechanisms and stuff.
Yeah, that was
Super
Kirby's.
awesome.
He's gonna be working on that, or he's been working on that on the side, and hopefully we
So if you
get some good
do,
updates for that.
if I'm running around like an asshole dressed like Captain Recreator, like you are more than welcome to do whatever.
Yeah, that should be fun. I'm also hoping that I get to do a lot more with the art me, because that's kind of my ultimate goal. I don't want to like
Honestly,
no
next
shame
year's probably
towards
gonna be
Recreator. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of it, but my ultimate goal is something like the ArtMe, being able to chop up and make filament with recycled material. That's the thing I've wanted
It
to
was
do.
the show winner. Unfortunately, we left, and it was like, oh shit, we like even the other sponsors that sponsored me were like, how did it go? Did you sell our product? And I was like, we talked everything at ArtMe. Like,
Yeah.
you should probably invest in ArtMe at this point.
Yeah, no, I got to do that too. But so that's kind of the convention, all that stuff. Let's talk about specifics for the channel. And I'll say what I can and then hide the rest of the other stuff because I have a bad tendency of leaking stuff before it's ready. But Josh and I have discussed doing a not co-op, but doing a Kirby. What's the word? I'm forgetting it.
What?
Like for when
Collab?
collab. That's it. So Josh is gonna do a collab for one of the Maker Tuesdays, and it sounds like from us talking today that it might be focused on the art meet, which would be fucking fantastic if we did. So I'm like super excited about that. Also for me, content wise, going back to the camera, I know I said I wasn't. Look at what I got here, guys. All those streams of Dream talking about this, and I finally have it in my hands, so now I can show it off. I know I was supposed to have this at Midwest, but you can blame Josh for that since he's here. I can make fun of him. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I can finally start actually. What's up?
Show off the side.
Okay, hold on. I just don't want this to.
Doug did the
Wait, this is Doug's?
Doug did the side.
Oh well, obviously it's
Turned the
it's
side panels into print-a-block.
yeah. I was gonna say it's print-a-block, so of course he did it. But so wait, did he print this or somebody else print this?
Oh, but he put it out as a mod, so I'm
Oh,
trying to print
okay.
community mod stuff, you know?
I need to community mod something with Ace Gamer on it, right? The
You know,
coolest
print
thing
out
about
the-
this, the aluminum
print
extrusion is
out
printed
alpha
too.
blocks and throw out and just take meld. You can put Ace on there with the the writer's block. I'll send them to you.
I got to do something crazy with this to make it my own. The coolest part back here, so we kind of talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it to you guys as well. But the power port, this doesn't have a power supply in it, so I can't like plug this in and use it yet. What I got to do is either Doug and I were talking about hooking this up to the Recreator. So this was just a plug-and-play addition to the existing Recreator. Right now, the advantage of the meld over the advantage of the Mark 6 fun-sized over the Mark 5 is that it has swappable hats like a Raspberry Pi. So right now it's in meld mode, but theoretically I could just take this off and swap it with the Recreator hat, and then it could be a Recreator as well. So he and I are also working on developing that. When I say he and I, he's doing all the coding, and then I'm doing the physical testing, or at least that's the plan to go forward on what he and I have been talking about, because I have no coding knowledge. He does all of that. But I have more time than he does to mess with it and play with it. So he's like, could you test it? So I think that's how we're going to collaborate going forward. And it's not going to end up like the wheat farm, right, Kirby? It's going to actually happen.
The wheat farm's done. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the one in the the one in the oh my gosh, the one in the perimeter that he said he was going to make when he joined the server.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
then
one. And then never did
didn't.
it. So yeah. This is the big thing. So that's why I grabbed all that filament. It definitely wasn't because it was fun just to grab shit. But I grabbed all that I grabbed all that filament because I'm gonna make a video or working on a video where I take all of the filament that I've grabbed at these conventions and meld it into a giant roll. So we'll see if that works or not. That's what I'm going to test with on a PLA end, and then I'd like to use that experience to move forward and meld PET so that I can finally print more with Recreator filament, because I keep running out of time to sit there and babysit a whole roll of filament, or a whole print, because I don't like to wind my stuff.
I'll let you know what I hear back from Sunlu.
About the joiner.
Well, yeah, I mean, someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh, Sunlu's sending me the $60 version," and I'm like, "The $60 version? What's that?" And they're like,
I
"Oh,
heard you
it's supposed
saying
to
that.
might go a little hotter," and I'm just like, that would have been cool if I heard about the $60 version, you know?
Yeah, no, because you work with that material. I don't think they were
So,
ready to
and
ship it out when they shipped you yours. But
so,
I'll see. I'm not a big fan of when things are all tied together electronically. Kirby is a really big fan of that. But like I do all of my recreating separately. I do the cleaning all at once. Like I clean all of my bottles. Then I strip all of my or then I expand all the bottles. Then I strip all of the bottles. And then I individually recreate each one into a usable roll of filament. So I'm not a huge fan, because at any point, if any of those parts like stop working, it compromises the whole thing. That's why I like to do it piecemeal. So these ones that are like, we're going to meld the filament and then automatically pull it for you, that spooks me a little bit, because like, what if it doesn't cool down properly and then you mess up half the roll because it's pulling it through a hot zone? I don't know. It just, it freaks me out just a little bit. I'm not a huge fan. I'll have to see see how that goes. Yeah. That's so this is the next video, big
it's
video.
fun to find your flow.
Yeah. I'm
Everybody,
much more
everybody
of
does
a
it.
do it yourself kind of guy. I don't really like relying on code and machinery because, well, first off, I'm not great at coding, but second off, I don't find as much reliability with that method. But I'm not saying it's impossible, because Kirby does that kind of stuff. That's why I don't do redstone. That's why Kirby does all the redstone for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Josh, do you have any other stuff that you want to say for future rep raps? And then I'll let Kirby talk about ask any more questions of us.
Yeah, I don't know if to. I know you mentioned Rocky Mountain. I know there is a gentleman who did Rocky Mountain the first year for us, and he wanted to go back. And then Buzzkill Bill wanted to go back. And so if you plan on going too, there might be
Kirby and I might go there instead of
bunch of
Midwest.
people, man.
So,
So Rocky Mountain. I know Justin, who runs Rocky Mountain, really wants me out there and asked what I needed. If I end up out there and there's 3 ambassadors, I will 100% just be Captain Recreator for the weekend.
I like to hear that. I'll have to get a video you running
So
around
I
with coins.
can get a.
The only
That's
thing
so-
the only problem I have with Rocky Mountain is the reason I'm
Off
wouldn't go
Kai.
to Midwest is it's too close to Off Kai,
Yeah.
but Off Kai's like in between Rocky Mountain and Midwest.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not really. Plus, I'd be traveling for both Rocky Mountain and Off Kai.
A
So
lot.
You should do it.
Yeah,
It's
a
worth
lot of
it.
flying.
It's worth
I
it.
don't know.
It's worth it.
I'll have to think about it. I'll have to see how much I have saved up by the time it rolls around.
and that,
A
well,
lot can
that's
change
how
in a
I
year.
feel with Rock. Like, you know, like they're like, "Oh, whatever you need to get out here," and I'm like,
Money.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, like
Could
I
be a
really
lot.
want to go, but yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
No,
I
I
need
get you.
money.
But
Yeah.
I Off Kai last year, missing it really bummed me out. So I want to go to Off Kai, and I don't know if Midwest or Rocky will be more impactful. I think that Rocky will be more impactful, because
So you
Midwest
just
this
said it
year.
right there. Like, what you really have to consider, like, what am I going to the event for,
Uh-huh.
and is it going to be beneficial, and which one's going to be more beneficial?
If you're
No,
going as well as 2 people already being there, Josh, I think I'm
Yeah.
more interested in going to Rocky because it'll give us more flexibility. Because like Kirby and I
Agreed.
wanted to do more stuff that was like just fun. Like Mike and I, we went to round one and Dave and Buster's. We went to the video game store and we watched the entire first season of House
Nice.
MD. Like we did stuff outside of the convention, and that's kind of
Legit,
another.
if I'm going dressed as Captain Recreator, you better believe we're having a fucking good
Yeah,
time.
no, that's what I'm saying. I want to go and have a good time because I was a little stressed with Midwest because I had to like run the table the whole time while
Yeah.
Kirby got to go out and have fun and pop his tire.
We didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't do that much other than my brake job.
Yeah, so if I can convince you to go to Rocky Mountain, Kirby, that would be my pitch. Is it's going to be a lot more fun than Midwest was.
Yeah, less stress because I wouldn't be taking my own car.
Yeah, that's true. Instead,
But yeah,
Josh can pick us up at the
it's mostly
airport,
just
right?
the money and time thing is the
I'll
issue.
get a fucking limousine for you.
That's what I
Oh,
like
yeah.
to see. So anyway, yeah, no, I'm very
I call
excited with
shotgun
how
if we have a limo.
I'll sit in Kirby's lap. So no, I'm very excited with how this went. I was very nervous because being on the other side of Rep Rap is a uniquely anxiety inducing thing for me because at a lot of conventions I'm on the other end. When I'm behind a table like this, I'm normally a spokesperson, but I always feel this need as a maker to have something to show off at these events. Otherwise, I feel like I don't deserve to, like my whole channel is about making, but I can't manage to make anything to bring to these conventions. So I always feel like I'm not bringing enough to Rep Rap. Um,
Oh my
so
god, dude, that's like legit. It will just consume you though. Like,
yeah, no, it's always like, well, what
like
is going to be enough? And
once you decide you're going,
Kirby said to me before Midwest, which changed my entire perspective on that. For Midwest, for East Coast, I was genuinely really nervous, but for Midwest, he was like, "Well, when people see the table, they're not going to see like, oh, this is Ace's stuff, this is Kirby's stuff. They're going to see the Recreator stuff, and they're going to attribute it to all of us." Until you like describe it in more detail, and then that's when they'll be like, "Oh, well, you did, like you put this effort in." So that helped me for Midwest. I was more nervous on another end because I felt like I was like riding on the Recreator's coattails by like just having like a little section of the table. But
it's
talking with you,
it's
you
one of
really alleviated that stress off of my
like
back.
literally, I got to go to. I was invited to Rock or Midwest in 2022, and it was literally a week before the show, and Twitter blew the fuck up and tried to get me to go. Don't tell, like everybody jumped in and sponsored, and like I literally had the money to go, and I'm like, you guys, the show is in like 2 days. I can't like. And then so it was like, okay, well, Earth is going to be in 3 or 4 months. That gives me enough time to prep. So I asked everybody who offered if they'd be willing to extend to Earth, and only half of them agreed to, because like anything else, like the ones who agreed wanted to see me at the show that they were going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like anything else. Like once you start looking for sponsors and this and that, like is a sponsor potentially sponsoring you because they want to see you in the project, and what show are you going at and which one are they sponsoring you for,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, dude, like LDO gave me a quarter of their table.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't even like, so like at that point it was just like somebody else was like, I can go and do the table
You're
for
telling me I
you.
could have rubbed elbows with the LDO people and gotten a positron from them? Come on.
I don't
I'm
know.
kidding. I'm kidding.
That was before all then. But so like this guy Bill from the Facebook group was like, "Oh, I'm going to Murph, so I'll cover that sliver of the table at LDO." And dude, it almost felt like a fucking joke. Like they put us literally next to like the biggest filament creator, and it felt like David versus Goliath. Like Bill's just sitting there with this tiny ass recreator machine with like this giant ass like filament producer behind him with like mounds of filament everywhere, and it just
That's so
looks just
funny.
ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, so looking to forward to future I'm just going to call them rep raps, future rep raps.
yeah,
I'm very excited. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to pull it off. Doug really wants me to pull it off, but he's like, "You should come to Smurf." I'm like, "There's no way I'm going to get a flight to Europe, dog." Like I could barely afford to make it out to Rocky Mountain, and that's in my country. There's no way, dude.
you know what?
Um
Here, if I manage to get out there because I got enough clout, I'll be like, yo, I need my Robin, and we'll fucking dress up.
There we go. I like that. I like that. We're gonna look like Eminem in those old music videos. figured figured you'd understand that one.
Oh,
Um
man.
so anyway, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I've kind of been very like gushy about it today, so I don't want to keep saying it, but thank you so much for having me. It's been a dream come true to be able to represent.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it was I finally found something that the thing that I like about the most of these rep raps that I don't see in a lot of my other life is just this idea where everybody is so happy to be doing what they're doing. And I was talking to Chep about it, and it's kind of sad, I guess. I don't want this to be a sad takeaway, but it is kind of sad to think about. But he said the hardest part about the 3D printing community as a whole is that we all are insanely driven, but this isn't something that you can monetize. So we're only working on borrowed time. Like a lot of us have another job that we're doing on the side, like myself, or people are doing it like Cocoa Press, where they're just about breaking even, if not making like 1% profit. Like the 3D printing industry really isn't built off margins. They're built off of the backs of like blood, sweat, and tears. And there's if I can be kind of I'm very normally positive about everything I talk about with everything on my channel, but if I can be a little negative, it does kind of frustrate me a little bit to go to rep raps every year and see like the same things every year, because I feel like the entire community is held back by the fact that this is just a hobby. And it's so
Well,
sad to see that. Again, this isn't the case for everybody, but like
that's the so like
it's just
that's the thing is
so
like for
sad
me
to
is
see that this is that 3D printing is largely still just a hobby. And I feel like there's such enthusiasm and there's such
that's what I'm trying to
drive that
bring
just
out.
can't fully be capitalized on. And it's like, oh, it's right. You just wish that you could find that like 1%er that could like bring everybody up, but anyway,
So
sorry,
like
that's my little doom and gloom to
well,
get that out of the way.
I'm gonna get rid of your doom and gloom because at the end of the day, like it's so like where Chep was going, where it's like it's rep rap. Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's the spirit of the event that we're going to, and as much as you can say, and I will agree with you that sometimes it feels like it's the same thing. So like
Yeah.
here I've got the Big E. It's like our Eastern States Exposition where everybody comes out and it's like it's the similar people, but one of the big takeaways of going to the events is the fact that like you showed up, dude. You're like Josh Taylor recreator. Oh my god. And then like I'm over here like, is this real life right now? Like, is this kid like making me feel like I'm a superstar? And guy, I did that with people who showed back up where they were like, "You're making me feel like a superstar right now," and I'm like, "Cause you made me feel like a superstar," and
Well, you made me feel like a superstar this weekend.
that's the thing, man. And so like at the end of the day, just like Jason and my sponsors made me feel like like they're there as the big players, and they got there a certain way based off of where rep rap is and how it drives, and it's a very community driven. Like the rep raps are like summer camp. I've never experienced summer camp, and to be able to say like I met friends at the rep rap. We got to make T-shirts like I make friends at the rep rap festival. And it's like it turns into family, dude. Like, and so at the end of the day, like having you at the show this year is like full circle for where I've been, where it's just like someone else gave me the spotlight. And so I want to be, and just like Doug's going to Smurf on like behalf of Recreator at just the sponsor table, but it's like, yo, I want you to go and show your project, and like the guy's making like print-a-block stuff, so it's like whatever you think you might be working on, or you know, want to expand beyond Recreator, that's awesome, because I'd rather you go and showcase at our table, just like LDO allowed me to do that one time. And that is what the Rep Rap Festival is. It's not just going and getting film, and it's not just seeing the same people that are there every year, where you're like, ah, it's just another filament maker, or just another person who made a bunch of tchotchkes that I can print out. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Baby Belt, bro. Like Rob brought Baby Belt, and it's cool, but then he made that Boron build, dude. That like the Crooked Crow blew people's brains out their assholes. Like,
Is that the one that can shift between the belt and the
yes,
regular?
like, and
Yeah, I
so
wish
that's the
I
type of
think
stuff
I took a
where
video of that like
you're not
changing
gonna see
axis.
Bamboo show up and have something like that, dude. That is like
Well, you're not
something
gonna.
that you would
They're
You're
not
not
gonna
see
show up
Bamboo
at
show
all.
up.
know, dude. So like you're
I'm
gonna
so
make
sad in that Creality didn't come this year. They came
they
last
got
year.
they got kind of they fucked themselves last year socially.
Creality?
On a business. Yeah, they did. They tried to do like a maker fair afterwards, and literally like people were trying to leave Earth like to go to their maker fair, and that would equate to early breakdowns, which would have been catastrophic for the event, and so I honestly think they weren't invited.
Oh, that's interesting.
They also weren't at Midwest Rep Rap, so I don't know if they're just
Either I don't want to say
giving
they
up
weren't
on
invited,
Rep
but I
Raps.
think that they kind of like
Maybe they
got
just
the
made the
idea that they
decision
were
to
not
like
well
stay back
organized.
for a year. Yeah.
I think they're hiding because the K2 is about to come out and people are gonna say that it's mid and they're gonna be like, we can't recover from this.
Eh,
I'm kidding.
eh.
Oh,
Reality's a bunch of cockroaches. Not to say that that's bad. I'm saying that they're footed, dude. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
yeah.
They could release a pile of crap. People are still gonna buy it.
They could
And
release another Ender 3 and
They could
still sell
release
all the
another
old
they
Ender
ones.
3.
will. It'll be the Ender 3 Pro 8 version 18, 22,
I mean, the Ender
35.
3 Pro just got sold at Micro Center for $50, and people were like, "We gotta buy more Ender 3s."
Legit though, guy. I mean, it's a kit now, so you can turn around and that's how I was telling people. What else can you recreate? You know, not just a recreator, but you can turn that into like anything. You can
Yeah.
trick that out, man.
Okay, so
Not even
here's the thing that I was talking about.
turn it into that turtle.
That
Was it
like
the turtle
this
or-
this one is the one that Hedgehog made. But I didn't get a picture or video of the
was that specifically zombie hedgehogs?
Yeah,
yes.
I think so.
Yes. This is
So
his
many
this is
people
his version of it, but this is what I was talking about. It's the like open source AMS. I forget the name of it, but it's like the Voron's version of AMS
Okay.
from what I was pitched. And this is just Hedgehog's version of it, but the other one used the turtles. This isn't the turtle one. I don't have a video or a picture of the turtle one because the guy kept staring me down. And I didn't want to take footage of him while he was staring at me. But anyway, this is what it looks like. Do you recognize it, Kirby?
Huh? What did you say?
Do you recognize this Kirby? This is the machine I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I've seen this before. I
Okay.
haven't really looked into it though. So
By the way, look in the back. There's Karen's maker coin thing. Her stuff is so cute. I gotta keep shouting her out all the time. I should have my video of you at the Polymaker booth. Where the hell is it? That's not it. I might have to look in my footage again. I can't find it. I can find the video of the trophy that you got, which for everybody besides me and Kirby that
Oh, I
could
sent you a bunch of stuff on Discord, so I don't know.
I saw the like links to the stuff. I'll have to check that, and I saw the stuff for what's it called? I saw the stuff for printer blocks. I'll take a look as soon as the stream is over.
My little car, my car that could.
Oh, I'm seeing all of it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you sent a lot. Sorry. So when I stream, I don't get notifications.
Okay.
There's Make Magazine. I actually bought a subscription to Make Magazine, so I get those in the mail now. Look at all those printers. That's crazy. Bumpa Built. Interesting.
Bumpa Bill.
And then there's the Jeg
Sure.
He.
So that's the guy I get all the weight from. So should
Gosh.
eventually have like a TikTok interview about all that jazz.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be sick. So here's the trophy that Josh got.
So Ace, he just bought like a 3,000 square foot building that he's going to be moving his 70 printer farm to. So we're probably going to be working like with opening like recycling in his basement for doing full circle production work. So
That's cool as
there
shit.
might
That's
be
what
a
I'm doing in
lot
my
more stuff
basement.
to showcase down the road.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Well, so yeah, this is the trophy. I got a really nice video of this showing off here. I even got one for TikTok, so I can get a nice shot there. So you're seeing the raw footage. I don't like to show off raw footage, but I wasn't gonna be able to edit the video quick enough for this. I take a lot of shots all in one and then clip it to fit what I need it to. So like this shifting right here, I'll like loop this little section over so that I can have the footage for TikTok when I make a TikTok video. This weekend I'm going to try and edit all the videos. I don't want to make any hard promises, but I will hope to have the rep video or the Printopia video out by next week, end of next week. We'll see how that goes. I want to have the fauna planter video out to show off that. I want to have... I still haven't decided what I want to do with the filament that I got because those videos did so poor last year, but I want to show off the filament that I got in some way. So if you guys have any ideas of what you'd like, feel free to drop those in the chat or comments because I want to show off the filament that I got. I don't have really much else to say. I'm kind of getting towards the end here. I'm just so excited by the future of where this puts me on a purely selfish level. I was kind of feeling like I didn't have enough to keep going. I had a lot of questions on like what projects to do, you know, too many meals, not enough chefs in the kitchen, I guess you could say. And so to see, this is what the Recreator did for me last year. Is I saw the Recreator in person. I was like, I can actually make this. Like, this is possible. And then I saw the Shredder and the Art Me in person. I'm like, you know what? I can do this. Like, this is possible. And so now I'm a lot more
Everybody
enthusiastic.
Had that, like, it was so amazing just to see everybody like, it's finally possible.
It's so different to see something online than it is to see in person. Kirby and I talked about this when we talked about, or when we talked about why I think that Micro Center is so successful in the tech space right now, because a lot of the stuff that they sell, people don't have a reference for in real life, like buying a printer or buying filament. If you want to buy like maker components, like Kirby buys all this stuff from AliExpress, and I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable buying it off AliExpress because like you have to really know what you're buying when you buy it from somewhere like that, when you buy stuff online. And I think a very similar phenomena happened this year at 3D Printopia for me, or not this year, in general for 3D Printopia. To be able to see the Art Me in person, to be able to see the Baby Belt in person, to be able to see the Rook in person, those are all three projects that I've been looking at starting for years, months, you know, that kind of stuff. And so to see them in person, I'm like, wait a minute, this is like really possible, you know? I don't know if you felt that way, Kirby, being at Midwest Rep Rap,
That's how
but
I feel every time I go to Midwest Rep Rap. Even though it's a lot smaller and a lot less organized,
yeah.
it's still really cool to see a bunch of
Well, and
projects. And that's
again,
part of the
I only
reason I
complain
bought my
about Midwest
forum.
because it wasn't as good as 3D Printopia, but it is still a phenomenal experience for somebody
Yeah.
that's in the 3D printing space. Um, having gone to it and a gaming and a general nerd convention, I think the thing that Rep Rap has over, I used to tell people, oh, Rep Rap is like Comic-Con but for 3D printing. And the more I go to these rep raps, I disagree with that way that I used to describe them, because it's so much more a melting pot of printing projects. It's not a melting pot of people, it's a melting pot of projects. And I think that key distinction is what makes rep rap so powerful compared to these other conventions, because at the end of the day, the 3D printing industry, or the 3D printing space, has been built on the back of passion, not on the back of economics or financials or whatever you want to call it.
That's
Like,
when something, gets ripped off. People are so
all right, all right,
passionate
all right.
about it because it's like, yo, like you just took our blood, sweat, and tears, our passion project, and it's hard to take it not personal too when people are like, you maybe like talk down on it or this or that, and uh, I don't know. It really is a lot to put yourself out there, just like
I don't
Um,
know if this matters for a hill of beans, as my grandfather used to say, but the people that matter understand how much work you're putting in, and we
oh yeah,
recognize
oh
that.
yeah,
So
oh yeah.
if you
And
need
that's like
reminding of that, I'll tell it to
that was
you.
the biggest takeaway. Yeah, well, that's like the thing is, it's like you got to remind yourself. I remind myself that I'm a big piece of shit. So it's nice when other people are like, yeah, you're kind of not. So that was one of the biggest takeaways, was like having just like people come back and being like, you are still here.
Yeah,
Thank you for still being here and doing this and giving encouragement for something that's broken. And so just even with other rep rap stuff and other builds that people are doing, man, like we're building the future, everything's like built off of one plateau to the next. And if we're helping each other full circle, just get our projects up there, you never know who's going to be bigger one year as opposed to maybe not around the next year. There
yeah,
is such an ebb and flow of business and just in rep rap in general. Like I'm looking at a cupcake CNC by MakerBot, and MakerBot, it used to be an industry standard, and now they're not, and
no,
that's crazy to think about
they
when
got swept
they
away. They
literally
didn't
started
adapt.
the rep rap make scene where you're talking about is so detrimental to keep around and keep alive, and that in a blink of an eye anything can take it out.
Yeah,
So like that is one of the biggest things that we talk about in the rep rap amongst the builders, is just like how do we keep it flourishing and alive, just like when you hear from people like Marlin that are like, can you please just donate to us because we do this for free and we don't make money off of it, and you're like, how does Marlin exist when they're not a business making money off of it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, especially because their firmware is
And they're
in
literally in
like every
every
printer.
fucking 3D printer. Like it's like mind blowing.
But I think the switch from RepRap to Printopia, while it's not as easy on the tongue, I think that solves. That's a great
Earthtopia
thing.
is what
That's
that
a
was the
great
joke.
thing.
Earthtopia.
Earthtopia, I like that. But I think
Earthtopia.
that switch is endemic of exactly what you're talking about. On a
Hated
whole,
it.
I think it's that the new, and I said this last year, and I'm so glad that I'm proven right in this regard. And Kirby, you can back me up on saying this, but I said 3D printing has come to a place where the companies have sold a printer to everybody that is a tinker, or about everybody, you know. They've already tapped into the tinkerer market. There's no product that they can come out with that can tap into a new form of the tinkerer market. What they needed to do was embrace non-tinkerers and people that wanted to use the printer for the things that it made and not because they wanted to play with the printer itself. That's why you keep hearing the phrase, it just works, or it's plug and play when people discuss printers. And I think that is why there's been this bamboo revolution, because bamboo was one of the first companies to really put that at the forefront of their business. They were the first to be like, we want a printer that has like Apple Care and
now rapid prototype, like
yeah.
10 times faster.
And so I think that
tinkering afterwards with rapid prototyping.
You're also seeing even just on the creator side, you're seeing a lot of videos where the main focus isn't the printer, it's what you're making with the
what
printer.
you're making.
It doesn't matter what the printer is. A
I'm
lot of times it is
I'm biased
printer.
because that's what interests me. Like what I kept saying at Earthtopia this year was that I am personally not super interested in building this elaborate printer that can do everything. If it can print, that's all I care about, because I'm more interested in making shit with the printer. Like if you look at the stuff on my channel, I mean, I did make a video about making a printer, but if you look at what I talk about in that video and across my channel, I mainly focus on the product, not the printer. And so, and I think there's a lot more people that have my kind of mindset in this new age of 3D printing. And the shift from RepRap to Printopia, I think, is exactly what I'm talking about there, where we saw a lot more people. Like, cosplay is a great example of that. At the end of the day, cosplay makers don't really care about the printer they're using. If it makes prints that are great for cosplay, that's all that they really care about to an extent. And
well, I mean,
so
so if you can pick up a hammer, some people are like, well, I like a branded hammer. It's like, well,
yeah.
most hammers are generic.
but like the example that I would use is like, maybe you buy a more expensive hammer that, you know, has special wings on the side that make it so when you swing it, it glides it onto the nail. So you don't have to be as skilled to hit the nail anymore. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, is 3D printing is being more inclusive. And so we're getting more makers into the 3D printing space, because not every maker is a 3D printer, but every 3D printer is a maker.
Mentioned the little girl that came up to me, and I'm like,
absolutely,
I'm talking to a 20-year-old, you know? And so now I'm like literally having an epiphany in my own mind blown, and the father looking at me like, is my 9-year-old, and I'm like, yo, is your 9-year-old really this impressive right now? Like, am I like talking to somebody who I thought was on par with my age, where it's just like, we're bringing in makers now that are so young and just know what they're doing, and intuitive to the point where it's like, this is gonna change. This whole next decade is gonna be all industrial revolution boost. Like, it's gonna be insane. Like,
yeah. And I would say that that's the thing that I think is the most positive that we could possibly end the stream off on, is I think the 3D printing space is at the most inclusive it's ever been, and it looks like it's only getting better from here, which is super exciting. My whole goal with Ace Gamer has been to try and get more people makers into the VTubing scene. But what I've actually been doing, ironically enough, is getting more VTuber fans into 3D printing. And anybody here that's from any of the Discords where I rep my stuff and decide to drop by because they saw my VTuber models, first off, thank you so much. And I don't plan on stopping. I've got a bunch of models that are in the modeled phase, and they just need that little push to get to the printed phase. So please look forward to more VTuber 3D models. I'm not planning on stopping there with those. Maker Tuesday has been going really well. It might shift days a little bit as my schedule gets heavier. We might have to move it to Monday, much to the chagrin of Kirby. But yeah, no, I have no plans to. I might take a little bit of time off here because I've been going solid since the beginning of the summer with Murph, but I don't plan to slow down on any of the stuff that I've been doing on a maker end. I plan to only pick things up. And with that, I'd like to get more videos out as well as I said this at the end of my last full video, but I'd like to get more full videos out there as I get more comfortable with editing, which should be a lot of fun. I'd like to delve more into that cosplay end because I think that's what I really enjoy doing on a modeling end. So look forward to that. A lot of fun. I can't wait for the next one. I'm already planning what things I'm going to make in print for the next convention. Which I know Josh, you're probably excited to hear that. Also, so what are your final thoughts for the stream today?
My final thoughts are I'm taking the next 6 months off.
You earned it. When I get back to you and I'm like,
decide you're going or not going, and then I've said July, I'll probably decide if I'm going or not. But until then, I got to worry about other things.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. Always happy to work with Recreator, and I'm really excited to to collaborate with Josh more in the future on the channel. That should be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna 100% take you up on that because half the battle is hosting. So thank you for being an awesome host.
Oh, thank you. It's I had MC training in middle school when I ran the talent show. So what can I say? I'm just, got that on me.
There you go, buddy.
Kirby, do you feel like you properly got to live vicariously through me at East Coast Rep?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of well, it's not fear of missing out, it's just missing out now. But...
yeah, no, it's just jealousy. No, I got you. This is why I'm like, you got to go to Rocky, you got to go to Off-Kai.
I want to try to go. I mean, okay, if I don't go to Rocky, it might be a thing where I just bite the bullet and go to East Coast because it's far enough away from everything else.
Well, if you do go to East Coast, we've definitely got a place for you.
Than it does to go to Rocky, honestly.
Yeah, we can go to Golden Corral together.
Yeah.
Just kidding. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to end the stream off. If either of you guys want to stay past the stream to talk, I'll still be in VC for a little bit.
I need to bounce like pretty much right away.
Okay.
My other is looking for me to go to bed, so I'm gonna be headed out.
All right. Well, then I will talk with both of you guys about off camera stream stuff later then. But I want to thank you both for dropping by. I couldn't have properly summed up East Coast without you guys, so that was thank you so much for being here. And if I'm to like hold up my glass and cheers, I'm gonna say here's to future successful streams and everything with you guys.
I got a beer on my end. I'll hold it up as well. Kirby, thanks for having me as well.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, I will be live next week, back to the same time. I should be Tuesday, Thursday. That might shift and be Monday, Wednesday. I still haven't seen what my schedule for next week is going to look like. But that'll be Minecraft and then probably Mario and Luigi for Thursday. Videos, I don't have anything coming out this week as I kind of decompress from rep and prepare for making all the content for next week. So I apologize that there's going to be a little bit of a lag in the videos, but I want things to be quality and not rushed. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next live. Hope to see you then. Bye bye.